Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And yes, it is. It is a big week in gaming. I'm integot for episode 21 on Sunday, the 6th of December, 2020. As always, joined by the number one contender in the world for the best Xbox RPG player, Swinny.
Yo.
And now, I think officially, one of the co-hosts of the show, no longer foe of the podcast, Mike.
Hello! All it took was my mom to sleep with you, and ta-da! I'm officially on the podcast. This is great.
In this
Thanks,
week's
Mom.
show, we'll be discussing some big news around Bioware, Sony, and some interesting insights around single-player games, and then our predictions for this week's Game Awards. Some corrections up front, Swinny, I see.
Yeah, so this was less of a correction and more just... I just had a mind blank at the time. So mentioned Shadows of the Damned, and it was developed by a super group of developers, being Suda51, Akira Yamaoka, and I'm like, and I think some guy from EA, I said. So it was actually Shinji Mikami, like one of the biggest, best known Japanese devs. So I thought I'd put that into correction.
So these are. I'm going to argue these aren't even almost corrections. That's how pedantic we are.
Well, saying some guy from EA annoyed me after. I'm like,
well, he is some guy from EA. I mean,
is he from EA though?
No, he's not from EA. He's not.
Oh, okay, that is a correction. That is a correction.
What is he from?
Capcom.
Other than Japan.
Well, he was Capcom at the time, but then I think he'd already gone independent at that point. But anyway.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know if he was technically platinum then, but and the second correction is has a bit of a wishy-washy one, but I wanted to kind of clarify. So we talked about Hyperdimension Neptunia as part of our going through our possible games for our Game of Some Other Year 2011 shortlist, and it came up in my list for some reason, and that's because I was basing stuff off the Western release dates, not Japanese release dates.
Right.
So it was definitely a 2010 release in Japan, but it was a 2011 release outside of Japan.
Oh, thank God for those corrections,
well,
man.
But,
we nearly got sued by EA and all of Japan.
No, but I think we did. I always said the premise is we'll go by what Wikipedia has argued internally, because they do argue this stuff. And what they display, and they definitely display it as 2010. So, what do you think, Swinny? We should usually go by the Western release, which is very, I think, anti-Asian, by the way.
I thought that's what we'd agreed upon months ago. That's why I've taken that date.
No, because I always said, I think if it's a notable release, because, in retrospect, most people now look at, in the retro community, when the game came out in Japan as the basis for when the game came out. I mean, look at Mario 35, right? That's a global celebration. That's based on the Japanese release date, not the American one.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't think there's any.
I'm cool with whatever.
I don't think there's any games.
I think you guys are overthinking it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any games on our. That's what we do. Games on our shortlist. This is our MO. That fall into the bucket of 20. Oh, was it 2011 or not? So it was more just a clarification. So
fair enough.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Dead Island's the winner, so whatever.
And have you guys been playing any games this week?
Oh, yes. Wait, sorry. Do you want to go first, Winnie? Because I've got a long list. It's been a very
give
big
us the
week
highlights if you do.
I want to hear your long list.
Okay, my long list. Okay, so starting off with Morbid, the 7 Acolytes. So that just came out. I played it on Switch. I don't know how far into it I am because I have no idea. And there's not even guides or anything. And I'm not even going to use anything to spoil the game. It's pretty good. It's like a 2D top-down Dark Souls-y inspired Souls-like difficulty kind of game.
Wait, it's a Dark Souls inspired Souls-like?
Yes. Well, yeah, because you got to clarify now because it's closer to Dark Souls than other Souls-like
can I just
that were
sorry,
inspired by
Mike,
Dark Souls.
You've already generated the title for the show.
Oh God.
What was it? It was like
I'm sick of my stupidity generating free titles for the show. This is just
Souls inspired Souls like? Was that what the
Dark Souls inspired Souls like? yes. So another well actually no, this isn't Souls inspired at all. I've been playing the Borderlands collection, jumping between them. As you can tell, I'm trying to move on from that topic. You guys all right?
We've
Do
lost
you need a
into it. We've
moment?
lost integot.
It's so funny. Dark Souls inspired, Souls like. Sorry, go on.
So where was I? Now I lost my train of thought.
Shows off the rails already.
That's awesome.
So that was the first one, which is good. I recommend. It's not perfect. I think there's a few things that could have been improved, but for what
Sorry,
it is,
you're talking about Borderlands 1?
Yeah, I've
No, I'm
actually
talking
lost
about
track of
Morbid.
what you're talking
Oh,
about.
Morbid.
I'm talking about Morbid. I'm talking about the Souls-like game that I started off with.
Yeah.
Then Borderlands, and I've been switching between all three. So that's on the Switch as well. So that's the Game of the Year edition of number 1, which I think I predominantly played. Then I gave number 2 a go, and then I gave the pre-sequel a go as well. And
How do you
they're
find
really
it on the
good.
Switch? Because to me, that's like
Pretty good.
that just
Yeah.
feels like the worst place to play it.
That's what I thought too. And first-person shooters generally don't really work very well on the Switch, in my opinion,
Or on
for
console.
multiple reasons. Or on consoles,
my
but I use the Hori sticks instead of the standard Joy-Cons,
Oh, the
and I think
split
that's
pad-
made it a
the
little
split-
bit better.
The Split Pad Pro?
Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's
We've
called. I
covered
don't
it
know.
multiple times.
It's one of our best performing
that thing?
videos.
Oh wow, okay, well,
It's
that's
true.
the one then. Yes, I've been using
And we
that.
were going to cut the story.
Pretty good. No rumble, but I can live without it. And I think it just makes it feel more like a proper controller, especially because,
Yeah.
again, we've covered this in the past. I have fairly big hands, and the normal Joy-Cons are just super tiny for me. It's super uncomfortable. So anyway, I played those.
They are ridiculously small to play.
Way too small.
FPS, like again,
Especially for FPS, yeah.
apart from Halo, playing FPSs on console just never has worked in my mind.
It works with a whole bunch of things. I mean, look, one of the biggest things that's coming out, which is Cyberpunk. I think a lot of people are going to get that on console.
Oh, of course, but I'm definitely not.
In fact, my worry about that game, very, very tiny worry, is that half of it, well, not half, I think predominantly it's going to be a first-person shooter, really. But then the other big chunk of it is driving, and I feel like a keyboard and mouse just doesn't really work very well in driving games. So I'm like, do I switch between them? Will I have the controller on my desk, and when I get into a car, I quickly grab it and I use the controller for that?
I could actually
I don't know
see
how
you
I'm going
doing
to do that. I could totally do that. And then if I have to shoot while driving, I'll put the controller down quickly, and then I'll switch to the mouse and keyboard again.
I do
just keep
like how
going back
you're
and
calling
forth.
us pedantic when you're talking about switching.
What? I want the
control
best
modalities.
experience. I want to have the best experience possible by having the worst experience possible to achieve the best experience possible. So that was that. Then I also played more of Hot Pursuit. I guess getting, I wouldn't say close to the end, but I'm getting all the good supercars and all of that stuff. So I must be getting close to the endish of that. And that made me grab Need for Speed Heat, because as we all know, and I think we did announce this on a previous week, all the EA titles are now part of Game Pass Ultimate. So
not all.
Not all. Sorry, the ones that were on the EA list, I think, were all brought into
the basic plan.
the basic plan. God, I don't even know what plans there are anymore. Anyway, even the basic plan, I have to admit, is really cool. It's added a bunch of titles that I think are really worth playing. So I thought I'd try my luck at Heat again. I played it a while back on PC, never really finished it. Started again on console. Pretty good. Very, very fun little game. Then I also started playing Abzu, which I had for a while, I think. Just never really had the time to play it. Pretty cool, chill game. Awesome music. Have you guys played that one?
No.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It's very neat. It's like it's like Journey, kind of, so far anyway. Maybe a little more involving than Journey was.
So, Mike, considering you've got a PlayStation 5, maybe you should pick up the new game from the developers of Abzu.
Oh, which is
The Pathless.
The Pathless. Okay, I'll look into it.
Cool.
And
So wait, have you
else?
played your PS5 at all?
I haven't in the last week. No, it's.
I just think about all the people out there.
Paperweight. I know. I know. It's
desperate.
horrible. I feel bad about that, but I'm also not one of those people that wants to take advantage of the situation and put it on eBay for twice as much as I paid. So I'm like, well, what can I do? I just too many other things to do. Plus, I was trying to do a little filming of it, sort of like a B-roll for my YouTube channel. And since then, it's just been sitting on the desk unused. I know it's super entitled. I'm sorry to anyone who didn't get a chance to get it.
Wait, are you gonna build a PS5 out of Lego?
No, I'm not building one out of Lego. No, I just wanted to do like a cool B-roll filming unboxing video thing, just to try out some new effects.
But wait, you've already unboxed it.
Well, I'm re-unboxing it. I've boxed it up, and I'm going to re-unbox it.
It's a fake unboxing video.
It's a fake. Oh, really? You're telling me that all those unboxings on YouTube aren't real? Just like this? No way.
Scam
artist. Then I played a bunch of other things, but one of the other ones that I played was the Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. Now, I never actually played, which is weird. You guys must be shocked knowing me that I never actually played the originals. And so I went into this thinking, I heard about this game quite a lot. I played a bunch of different adventure games, but for some reason, never this one. And it's actually not bad. I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but it's surprisingly... Look, it's silly in many ways, but the premise of it is really cool. So again, without spoiling anything, you wake up as Larry, and he's kind of... It's sort of breaking that fourth wall where he's conscious of the fact that he hasn't been around for like the last 2 decades or whatever since the last game was made. And he's aware of that within the game.
The world's changed, yeah.
Yeah, and the world's changed and everything's weird and people have mobile phones and they go on dates.
More so that sense of humor is very on the nose at the moment, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So it doesn't deal with that? The fact that like that basically that game is like cannon fodder for SJWs?
It deals with it, but it's weird. Look, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I finish it. So maybe by next week, I'll talk about it properly. But so far, it's been pretty good. It's stupid in many ways, as you'd expect for the kind of game that it is. But at the same time, it's actually relatively clever in some of the stuff it talks about. So I think it's quite good. And yeah, that's. I played a bunch of other ones, but I'm not. I think I finished Avicii in Vector. By finished, I got to the hard mode, and then it just gets too hard to actually. I'm old. I can't.
I found out that I have that game on.
You have it
on Amazon Prime. I think I got it as part of Amazon Prime.
Wait, what? How does that work?
Prime. So if you have an Amazon Prime account,
yes,
you can get free games every month or every few weeks.
How did I not know that?
Oh, so Swinny, I was going to cover that as part of the bargain bin, but you told me not to. Nice.
Okay, well, see, thank you, Swinny. I could have had all these free games.
I'm sure I did, but I don't remember it.
I like that. I remember it so vividly because I'm like, I think it's a good service. And then it's like, I didn't remember saying that.
It's a great service, yeah. Maybe that's all the emails I've been ignoring that keep saying you have these benefits you don't use.
As you were saying that, I'm like, well, why don't we mention that in the bargain bin?
Well, now we just mentioned it.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I think I have to say, even since we started the podcast, it feels like so many more people are on Amazon Prime than before, like 20 so weeks ago.
Was that because of the lockdowns? Everyone's been jumping on Amazon?
I think so, probably.
Maybe. Bezos is laughing.
So, Integot, been playing any games?
Yes. So, I mean, like one thing, we're going legit, boys. We've got, I'm reviewing a game that hasn't come out on the specific platform. Can't say anything more than that.
Teasing me with that.
Yeah, we'll cover it next week.
What is it?
Yeah, the review will be going up on... maybe I shouldn't even say the site, but yeah, there'll be a site that will post a review. And then the other one is... went through Gato Roboto 100%, so I'll cover that review later, just probably a short review. And then the other one was I've been playing a little bit of Half-Life 1.
Okay. Cool. What made you...
So, I don't remember. I've lost track if I've said this on the podcast or in private, but I bought Half-Life Alyx.
Yes, you did mention that.
Oh, so I did talk about it last week on the show.
Yep.
So just in preparation for that, I guess, in a weird way, I'm going to play through all the Half-Life games before playing through Half-Life Alyx, even though I know it's a prequel, but I just thought it'd be a good thing to do.
Okay.
And I have to say,
I'm not your mom. You do whatever you want. But I don't get it, because there's so many other games that you have that you were saying where you were going to play, and now you're playing something that you've already played multiple times, just to play the third installment when you can just look it up on the internet to refresh yourself on the story.
I'm not sure if people...
I don't even think there's a need to anyway, but When
No,
are you
no,
going to get around to playing Dark Souls?
I think as it goes to gaming,
When are you going to
nothing-
move out and get a girlfriend and buy a house? Okay, you can't keep living with us. Okay.
I think as it pertains to gaming, nothing is a need. Everything's a want, right? But look, they're awesome games, and I'm playing the original version of Half-Life, not like Black Mesa. Although I would want to play that one day. And man, the game holds up so well. Like it's insane to me how well Half-Life holds up. Like I was only going to play the first, like literally just on the sort of elevator travelator thing, and then stop playing. And I just kept playing and playing and gone to the next section. I'm like, I got to stop this because I got to do other things. Awesome. But man, it's a really good game. Like, geez, it's a good game.
It's
so no, I'm actually looking forward to getting through more of it.
Oh, I forgot. You just reminded me. I got into Control. You were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, let's check it out. It's now on Game Pass. And that was one of those games that I found. I only played sort of relatively near the start, but I struggled to put it down and go to sleep. It was really cool.
So, I mean, we'll cover it in the bargain bin, but I ended up buying the Ultimate Edition for PC because, number one, I've only got the PC version of Game Pass, and then number two, it's the standard version, not the Ultimate version, and I really want the Ultimate version for the DLC, so that's fine. I'm happy to pay. I got it for a good price, so I'm happy with that.
So what about you, Swinny? What RPGs have you been playing?
I have actually, technically one of them is an RPG, but it's not been a very RPG heavy week for me. I did finish Dark Souls, so I guess you call that, but it's, I was near the end anyway last week, so I just finished that off. That was
so quick. That's incredible how quick you went through that.
It's fun. Been playing a lot of Valhalla this week, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, kind of making up for me kind of just being a little, I guess, lacking in the time I spent with it. And that game is still great. It's, what can I say? It's I love me some Assassin's Creed. Now, I've also been playing a couple of games for our Game of Some Other Year feature.
Oh, nice.
So, for the very first time, I've never played it before, I am playing Batman Arkham City.
Nice. Can I just say quickly, I booted it up because I'm also, scheduling all these games to play for Game of Some Other Year 2011. And I started playing it. I'm like, I've fully beaten this game. Like, I think 100%'d it. So I'm like, wow. Oh, okay. So what do you think of it so far? No, I
forget that.
No. Like, what I'll say is, with the Arkham games, to me, the first two blend in a little bit in my mind. So
I've got the same problem. Yeah.
So, and I've definitely beaten the first one and 100%'d that. So,
it's interesting that they blend because I've
got the same problem. They do in my head. I don't know why it's one and the same game, even though it's three different games.
So I'll so I'm gonna play through that. I don't know how much time I'll spend on it, but I want to at least play enough of it to be able to talk to it.
It's worth finishing. There's some really good bits.
Yeah, so I've been playing on PC. I had already had that. I just never loaded it up. And the other game I picked up on Xbox One. I only ever played number 3. The original number 3 is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So,
cool. Hey, can we play each other in that game?
Do you own it on Xbox One?
Oh, can you get it on PC?
Do you own an Xbox One?
No, I'll never buy an Xbox One.
Why not?
Because I might as well get a Series X at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So
but they're not in a bargain bin. You only ever buy bargain stuff. That's cheap.
True. That's very true.
So about Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So I've been playing. I've always struggled with the versus games a bit, just because they just play so differently to, let's say, a vanilla Street Fighter formula. I will say that for me initially, it's always that thing of, I've got to relearn how I approach playing a fighting game, playing a versus game. But I mean, obviously, it's a fantastic game. And the roster that they have in that is just incredible. I love it so much. And the last game I've been playing is...
just before you move on, you know how we were having that argument about, that game versus Marvel versus Capcom 2? And then you were talking about Maximilian... What's his name? Maximilian... I always forget. I watch his channel, but I always forget
Maximilian
his name.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, Maximilian Dude. That's it. Sorry. And I was like, because I'm still pretty sure that he thinks that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the best one. And then through his channel, like literally the day after we had that argument, he was like covering how much he loves Marvel vs. Capcom 3 specifically.
Yeah,
and then he had like a tournament and everything. I was like, oh my God.
I knew that when I was saying it, so...
I know, look at how sneaky you are. You just let me into your little trap.
Yeah, because you want... The annoying thing, a slightly annoying thing about doing a podcast with you guys is you will not talk about gaming-related stuff outside of the podcast now. It's so annoying. I want to share something or talk about something and I can't. But like you guys will not say anything until Sunday hits.
Pretty
All
much.
right, just to wrap up what I was playing, just because we're getting a little long in the tooth, was I gone back and played heaps and heaps of Picross. So Integot kind of inspired me to get back into Picross games, which have always been a love of mine. And I even, as part of Games Some Other Year, I'm also gone and got my 2DS, not a 3DS, to play a bunch of there's 2 games on our shortlist, Super Mario 3D Land and Mario Kart 7. And as part of that, I'm also going to start playing Picross 3D again on that. So that's really cool. Nice. But I will say this week is kind of crazy because not only has Dragon Quest joined Game Pass, but there's, like, spoiler alert, Greedfall is also on there, so on PC. So there's just so many games coming out, and it's great. It's great to have so many choices of games to play. So
it's really good value, isn't it? In Integot Game Pass.
Still debatable for me.
Huh? Yeah.
Although I am going to play.
For you and the $7 you saved so far.
Well, let's cover in the bargain bin. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Doom Eternal because I love Doom 2016. Don't love that I have to call it Doom 2016, but yeah, I do love Doom 2016.
Yeah, we need to talk about that one day, about games that are getting a reboot and it's the same name as the original game, and it just makes it confusing for many different reasons.
The whole segment, you've done it. Just then.
It's confusing, that's it.
I don't think there's much more to say outside of that. All right, let's get into the first piece of news.
Yes.
So, huge news this week, and
massive
not so
news.
Great. Thanks for the commentary, Mike. Not so great news for Bioware, I think. We did cover just recently that the announcement of the Mass Effect collection on PS4, PC, and Xbox, but then also that they are making a new Mass Effect game, and it's going to be helmed by veterans. That's how it was described, and that was from the studio head, Casey Hudson. And then, unfortunately, we had news this week that Casey Hudson, who had come back to Bioware and to run the studio, and also the Dragon Age EP, Mark Dura, have both left the company this week. Not really specific reasons as to why they've left.
They haven't said anything, have they?
Hudson had left prior, so in 2014, and he's rejoined in 2017. But yeah, this is not a great sign, I don't think, for either of these games. And lots of strange commentary coming out, but it pretty much feels unanimous that everyone's really concerned about BioWare and really how their next game performs is probably going to sort of make or break the studio. What did you think of this news?
I think... Oh, you go first.
You sound so disappointed. What do you think about this news, Mike?
No, you go first, please.
Oh, come on.
I insist.
I gave you the ball. All right. I mean, this isn't. There's no positive spin on this.
Yeah, there is.
I'm always of the mind that if one person leaves the studio, even if it's a super important person, I normally don't automatically treat it as a bad thing, because like we've all left jobs before, right? We all move on, we all make changes in our lives. But when you've got two massively influential senior figures
the head of the studio
at the same time, like, yeah, but it's the fact that they're both leaving at the same time is what makes me go, oh wait, something's not right here. And I'm not so concerned about Dragon Quest in many ways. It's
Dragon Age.
Sorry. Yeah, Dragon Age.
You've got it on your mind. You're like, I can't wait to play this game.
Note that correction down for next week, even though you've already corrected
it. You better correct yourself on the next episode.
So, not so concerned about Dragon Age for some reason.
I really wish you said Dragon Quest again.
Why are you not concerned, though? Because you're really into those games.
Well, let him make his point.
Yeah, okay. I'm more concerned about Mass Effect because we've already seen a dark period for the Mass Effect series. That's why I'm more concerned about Mass Effect than Dragon Age. Dragon Age has kind of gone from strength to strength, not from my personal love of the games, but more so of the series and the general So the new Mass Effect, it's going to be. I wonder if that changes their plans, or it's not good.
What do you think,
So-
Mike, when this came out, this news?
Well, okay, so to me, Bioware kind of lost what Bioware represented to me, having grown up on a bunch of different Bioware games a while ago. So, the latest Mass Effect wasn't as bad, I think, as people made it out to be. It just wasn't the Mass Effect that I remembered the series as being. And I think the direction that they took it in some ways just didn't really gel with a lot of people. And, once you found out the reasoning behind that and the fact that, half the studio, from my understanding, started working on Anthem, and a lot of the people that were working on Mass Effect got pulled to that, which would have been fine if Anthem wasn't such a half-ass feeling game when it did come out. It just felt like it was very shallow compared to what people expected. Probably also the reason why you can get copies for $1 now in a lot of places.
Yeah, which is incredible.
So that was really disappointing. So it was disappointing that, that the existing IP that they had didn't really go anywhere. And on top of that, the new IP that they were trying to create, in which they invested a ton of resources, didn't really go anywhere either. So I feel like BioWare have lost what they had as being a great studio, a while ago. So this could almost, unless they pull a miracle out of a hat, could almost be the downfall of BioWare in that sense. So hopefully not. We'll see. I think the cool thing is that maybe someone like Casey is going to move on and maybe create his own studio, or maybe do an awesome project somewhere else. Obviously, I have no idea why he left. I don't know if it was political. I don't know if he just wanted a career change. We'll see. But it'd be kind of cool if someone like him and his leadership would go on to create a cool new IP somewhere else.
Could you imagine if Obsidian snapped him up?
Oh, that'd be sick.
Like, with the amount of projects they've got going on, and them increasing the scale of the studio, that, if they did, that would be a huge get. But
that'd be pretty cool.
When you say, the downfall, I mean, we've got to remember that Dragon Age is very far into production. So far that they've already announced that at the Game Awards that they're actually going to be, there's going to be some presence from Dragon Age. Now, I don't know if that means we'll finally get an actual proper look at the game and not kind of just the pre-production stuff they've shown. So the fact that is already so far, that's why also I'm not so worried about Dragon Age, because I already know that the backbone of the game is happening there. But yeah, it's not good news though.
It's not, and I feel like, again, Mass Effect is an interesting example because I didn't find the latest Andromeda to be that bad. I actually thought it was a pretty decent game. I liked
Andromeda.
Yeah, it's just, I think the problem is people's mentality and people's expectations just weren't met. And you might find that now people are really wary of BioWare because of constant stuff that's happened with the last few games that they made, that they'll be a lot more critical of a game like Dragon Age, more so than they probably should be. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the only thing I'll just add, and I won't go into the sort of nth degree of the background to it all, but there was a really weird exchange with one of the voice actors who and again, I don't really want to go into the full specifics of it all, but one of the voice actors from the BioWare games basically had a crack at Mark Durra, and it was this guy's super political and it's the best thing that is left, and there was a lot of back and forth on Twitter with literally the people involved. So yeah, it just seems like it's gotten really messy at BioWare, right? I don't know. It's a real worry, just the way it's all structured at the moment.
If anyone needs, I guess, just a true understanding of how important these two people were to BioWare, the video that I found to play in the YouTube clip B-roll for this story, the first two talking heads a Casey Hudson, a Mark Darrah. I'm like, this is perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how important they were.
Oh yeah, they were massive influence.
Yeah, it's I like just the history of EA as well. They've just got a propensity to shut down studios, doesn't matter how big it is. And
Yep.
I think you're probably right, Swinny. Dragon Age 4 probably land okay at least, you'd think, because it's so mature. You'd hope anyway, and then maybe that will just keep it going for a while. So, all right, well, let's get into our next piece of news, just around Microsoft. So quite interesting news actually, I think. So they've acquired Smash.gg, or Smash.gg as most people call it. So for those that don't know, Smash.gg launched back in 2015, and it's a way to manage and run tournaments. So this could be either online or offline, and it's pretty much become the standard for, like any tournament really. You can even run your local tournament, and many people do. There's lots of really cool integrations with it. It even has like history and background into competitors. So that's why it's even kind of gotten bigger, because, if you use it, then it links to other tournaments that have been run. So then you can easily do brackets when you are setting up tournaments. And Microsoft has acquired them, which kind of interesting. And I think most of the impetus, obviously, if you think about the name Smash.gg, is very much from the Smash community, but it has branched out. So I'll see Rocket League tournaments run with Smash.gg. And, I think it's just used for anything these days. But what do we think about, Mike, just, what this means for Microsoft, and like, what are they doing in this space?
Honestly, can I defer that question to Swinny? Because I haven't even heard of Smash.gg.
Oh, okay.
I know you intentionally picked on me because I'm the last person to give a shit about esports.
No, I was rewarding you for not interrupting, but you're not interrupting because you have nothing to say.
Why thank you?
It's a carrot
Okay, so one thing about me that our dear listeners might not know, I'm really not into esports. Probably because I'm not into sports, period. I just don't find it fascinating watching other people do stuff like that. I mean, why not just do it yourself? Why not go out and kick a ball? Why not go out and hit a ball with a tennis racket? Why watch someone else play something? Go play yourself.
But that's like saying, why would you go to a concert? Just play music at home.
Well, no, that's different because you can't play music yourself.
That's the point, because a lot of these athletes, they do stuff I can't do.
I still don't get it.
All right, well, this isn't a discussion around the concept of sports.
No, it's a
can be.
discussion around the concept of watching other people do stuff instead of just having a go at doing it yourself.
But this isn't just about watching. This Smash.gg is about people competing in tournaments.
Yeah, but the whole thing, the whole esports thing. I'm the resident. I just don't get esports.
I know, but esports isn't just about the viewers. It's also about the competitors. I understand
don't get
what
it.
you're saying about the... But that's exactly what you're saying.
So
Why
Mike,
don't you go out and play a game yourself? That's what they're doing.
No, correct, Mike. So
yeah, but
they use
the
this
listeners
system to play the sport.
Yes.
I feel like you don't understand what I just said, but anyway.
No, I didn't. It's like in one ear out the other. I just really don't care about esports.
Let me give my thoughts about this then. All right. So let's learn to never talk to Mike about esports again.
No, we could talk about it. I just won't say anything because I have no opinion on it, other than it's just not my thing.
My first reaction to this kind of was, oh no, Mixer? I thought of Mixer straight away.
Whatever happened to Mixer? Is this still
Shut
around?
it down.
Did they shut it down completely? Oh,
Yeah.
they did too.
I can't remember the original name of Mixer off the top of my head, but at some point, I think they will rename Smash.gg, but it's. I think the difference with Mixer here is that like Smash.gg is, if not the leading, but one of the most leading platforms for this, whereas Mixer was not the leading streaming platform.
Wow, I've never even heard of it. This is amazing. It's like this entire part of gaming that I'm just completely oblivious to.
So
I find it funny that you find it shocking that you don't want to know anything about esports, so you don't know stuff about esports, and now you're shocked about stuff.
Well, I'm just shocked. I've never even come across it.
Do you know there's gambling on esports, Mike?
I'm aware of that, and you know how much I love gambling. So
Victorians were arrested, in your state, were arrested, and it became an international story for match fixing.
Yes, I did hear of that.
Okay, there you go. You've got some awareness.
I do. You know, this would be quite ironic that one day I'll end up. I can just see how this is going to pan out. I start by saying, esports, blah blah blah. Who cares about esports? And one day I'll own my own esports team.
Yeah, play Counter Strike.
Mike, if there were, if you know, I'm sure there's probably something out there, but if there were esports centered around stuff like the F1 games or
Nah, still wouldn't watch it.
really
Couldn't care less.
But would you play it?
not
Where would you
watching,
play it?
playing. I'm saying, would you be interested in the idea of
Competing in it?
People are having a
Yeah.
tournament
No,
in F1.
no. Wouldn't watch it. Wouldn't compete in it. Couldn't care less.
Okay, all right. Let's just
I like
check.
how violent you are about it.
I'm not violent. I just legit just don't care about it. So I used to do competitive tennis when I was younger.
Really?
And I used to play. Yeah, I used to play weekly comps and everything, and I didn't mind it, but again, it's because I actually got to partake in it. But watching tennis, I always found
But
that
we're not
boring.
talking
My
about
parents was like,
watching.
"Oh, the Australian Open's on. You should go check out the Australian Open." I was like, I just don't find it interesting watching people hit the ball. I'd rather actually hit the ball myself. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. Integot, what are your thoughts on Microsoft acquiring Smash GG?
Yeah, look, like I think, the point you were making just around Smash.gg is essentially the Twitch, like versus the Mixer in this situation. It is
What's
the
Twitch?
dominant. Stop it. It is the dominant platform in this space, and I just wonder with Xbox if they'll look to then integrate it directly into Xbox One, Xbox Series. And I guess essentially it would be Xbox One because it's the same UI, right?
They will. They'll integrate it for a year and then they'll shut it down.
No, I don't think this one would. I don't think that.
I'm calling
that
it
will shut
now.
down. No,
My
because this is
prediction
already
of 2021.
this is already the popular platform. So and I don't think Microsoft has had a propensity to mess around with the formula too much. They've people have kind of forgotten they've acquired LinkedIn, they've acquired Skype, and they haven't really stuffed around with those platforms. If anything, to me, they
didn't
probably
they
haven't
shut
invested
Skype
enough.
down?
Sorry,
I
what
thought
was
they
that
were
like?
shutting Skype down. Skype was being shut down. If it's not already shut
I think
down.
Skype for Business is being sunsetted, but I think regular Skype isn't.
Yeah,
It's still
regular
alive?
Skype.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that makes sense because they got Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, I know. There's no point having multiple
so-
platforms for the same thing.
Yeah, like I think this would be exciting, and I think for them maybe as well. Because they've got to try to somehow find a way to get some of these FGCs, these fighting games onto their platform. Like, it always surprises me to think that Street Fighter V is only available on PS4. Like, that's quite unbelievable, really, when you think about it. Whereas I actually think the Xbox Series X is a really good platform. Just with Game Pass and everything the way it is, like, you could imagine some of these fighting games and some of these other competitive games, they're free as part of Game Pass. Then you've got Smash.gg integration. It's quite a neat sort of circle that you'd have there. So maybe that's what they're intending to do. I don't know. What do you think of that, Swinny?
Yeah, it's tough to say because I don't know if Smash.gg is the kind of platform that, is it something that is not easy but doesn't make sense to directly integrate into the UI. I don't know. I don't know enough about, I've never sat there going through how to create a tournament, how to manage a tournament, because I've never had to. It's an interesting space for them to play around in. I think it will really show its hand if they start to push Halo multiplayer really hard with Halo Infinite. I reckon that's possibly where that stuff will come into play.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And then switching gears very dramatically, so we're talking about multiplayer games. Let's talk about single player games.
Oh, thank God.
I'm a huge proponent of single player games because I'm very antisocial. Even though I guess I play a lot of Rocket League, which is kind of contradictory to what I just said. But yeah, there was a really, really good article from Vice, and I do find that Vice every 3 months or so just releases a really awesome article on, just certain things that are in the gaming sphere that no one else has got that scoop. So somehow they've gotten their hands on some really confidential docs from Sony. I think even in the article it refers to we can't show you too much of it because we don't want to compromise our
Sources?
our source. But essentially, you know, a lot of the data that Sony sees internally, from their perspective, they look at it as single player games are actually thriving on the platform. I think from a dollar perspective, you can't really argue that multiplayer games are not dominating, like they simply are. But then just from a playtime perspective, engagement, single player games are huge. And that's coming through with the Sony data. And essentially that was a real big inspiration for them for why they developed the activities feature that's integrated into the PS5, where, you know, especially with single player games and open world games, you know, if the developers so happen to take advantage of the features, they can really make it easy for people to go, okay, I can do this little side quest in Miles Morales, and, you know, it's going to take me 10 minutes and I can get through that, which is massive. And personally, it's massive for me because with a family, sometimes it is just I can only play for 20 minutes. So a lot of the features of the PS5 to me are super appealing because it's turns on quickly, which I always found the PS4 to be really slow to boot up and start and play, just to actually play the game. Yeah. And then for it to just say, hey, 10 minutes to do this little side quest. Okay, I can squeeze that in and then sort of do what I need to do at home. So, Swinny, you're a huge player of single-player games. Does this make you want to switch into being a Sony ecosystem boy?
Come to the dark side.
This feature is not for someone like me. You know, it's not. I actually
have no time.
I like the idea of this feature. I'm not a fan of the feature in many ways, because I think that it depends on the game how I feel, if that makes sense. So a game like Astro's Playroom or Sackboy, you know, it makes 100% sense. Okay, it jumps you straight to the level with the challenge to do it. When you're talking about games where, let's say Red Dead 2, you know, if that had activity cards that just warped you straight to where you needed to be, then you've lost the whole experience of going through the terrain, being on horseback. So to me, it actually takes away from the experience of what the game is trying to offer. But at the same time, the reason why I like the idea is for people that aren't like me, people that are very time poor with, you know, with lots of stuff going on in their lives. You know, that's a reflection of if I'm the opposite of that. But you know, that have kids that they can't sit there playing a game for 2 hours straight. You know, they, as you said, you know, they're like, okay, I've got 20 minutes. I really want to do this thing, and it gets them there. But personally, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the game how much I like the implementation.
Of course. Horses for courses. It's, you know, with me and esports, I still think just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's stupid or... No, I'm just saying, right? It's the same as with you and this. Just because we don't necessarily use something or care about something doesn't mean it's not a good idea, or that, you know, there's a huge market for it and a ton of people would use it. I'm the same with the activity thing. I think Demon Souls had it. I didn't really explore it properly, but it depends on the game as well. Would I use it? I don't know. If there's a good game where it makes perfect sense, maybe I would. But at the moment, not really. I kind of just like to go through a game from start to finish and try to dedicate as much time as I can to a single game. So we'll see.
I mean, can I just ask Swinny though? Is this, you know, a bit of a background for the audience? One of their most infamous stories with us is, you know, I bought a 360. I think we might have spoken about this, but I'm sure we'll speak about this like 20 times on the podcast. I got a 360. You were checking it out at my house. And I was like, hey, look at this achievement thing. It's kind of cool. It's like, you know, I do something in the game and it logs it. And you're basically like, this is stupid. This is, you know, wrecking the immersion of the game and takes you out of it and everything like that. And I wonder if they do implement in a couple of years' time, Microsoft, this achievement activity where it's like, hey, you know, if you have 2 hours to spare, you can do this and get these amount of achievements. If you actually become like a massive believer in the feature, do you feel a risk of this little grab being played back in a couple of years' time?
So it still depends on the game. Like, that doesn't change. If that feature was already there, let's say accessible to me on Xbox One or whatever Series X, and I'm using it to clean up achievements, 100% I'd use it. Like, I'd be crazy because it's all about efficiency. It's all about it. No, it's all about efficiency. When you're like wrap you up a game, especially in RPG. It's all about min-maxing, all about efficiency to do, especially when you're grinding. How quick can I make it so that it's not taking me, hours upon hours? 100% I'd use it. It's more so when we talk about a Souls game, or as I said, Red Dead 2, where not like it actually changes the experience of playing the game, and it's more so probably for your first time going through the story of a game as opposed to the side activities. Side activities, I think, are where this makes the most sense. But to say, well, this is where I was up to in the game, just walk me straight to where I was up to in the game. I don't know how I feel about it. But it also, and I said this when we talked about the activities feature when we went through the PlayStation Experience video they had, that it also really depends on how many developers actually come to the party and implement that stuff directly, because it's all well and good for Sony first-party titles to do it, but are all, especially multi-platform games, going to do it? Now, we know that PlayStation 5 is probably, especially for the first while, going to easily be the most popular next-gen console for a while, especially player base-wise. So it makes sense for those, for those third-party developers that are doing multi-platform releases to actually focus a lot of time on that. But I mean, there's been stuff that introduced in next gen, in each generational consoles that just don't last. And because developers don't spend the time, they find that people don't really. They end up being a feature that was, that's cool, but people don't really use a lot. So I don't know. So Mike, you said that you haven't used this yet for Demon's Souls. Have you tried it out in anything else, or you?
No, I'm going to try it now when I get back to using my PS5. Okay. But I haven't yet. See, I have a really cool question for you, Swinny. Do you ever take a step back? Because obviously you're huge on achievements and hunting those achievements now. Do you ever take a step back and think to yourself what a massive impact the idea of achievements has had on your life?
Wait, on my life or the way I play games?
On your life in general.
Not
just the way you play games.
That is a separate. That is a can of worms that maybe we should talk about in the future when a good topic comes up around.
I reckon we should. Yeah, it'd be very fascinating because I think it's had a very, very profound impact on a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, but that's an adjacent topic, I think, because there's some interesting discussion to be had there. But
absolutely.
So
let's talk about it.
Integot, as a man with a very busy life, you seem to be all on board with this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I said this from the start of the show. I mean the show in general, before the next gen consoles, now current gen, I guess, are out. For me, the Switch, part of it, and I've realized now with the pandemic that I'm not going into work physically, I'm working from home, that there's so many features of the Switch that I really love, but it's based on how it allows me to game and get into gaming quickly rather than having to do other stuff. So for instance, I can take it out so I can continue a game as I'm playing it. So even the game that I'm reviewing that I alluded to at the start that's embargoed, it's like I could pick that up, play it in bed a little bit, play it downstairs, play it, in my home office setup. And like with the PS5, I really love the features of getting into a game quickly, being able to just go, okay, I can do the side mission, bang. And I get where you're coming from around the immersion, and 100%, you can't argue it doesn't alter it. But ultimately, games are still, there for fun and enjoyment rather than... Not every game has to be some kind of spiritual experience, right? And I think sometimes
that's why it depends on the game.
I agree with that. And I think there's some games that wouldn't be suited. I think taking a bit of a step back, because it was interesting how you're pointing out just around the features. The three big features for me with the PS5, and this is as a non-owner, but this is what I look at, is the activities that we just talked about, the DualSense. And, the sort of haptic vibration stuff, and then the game help things. And I think those last two will not be used very much at all going forward. Like, you've even heard heaps of stories about the triggers, not working very well in games, to the point where people are just like, this is worse than what it was before because people haven't implemented it right. And then I think especially the game help stuff is just going to die really quickly. Like, I do think that the activity stuff will stick around just because the structure of how you make a game, it's kind of like built around these set pieces. So I think it's pretty easy for them to integrate that in. So I could imagine that sticking around as a really common thing to see in most games. But yeah, like it's going to be interesting. I really like it. I'd be really disappointed if games in the future don't really have it featured prominently. Because I think to me it would be a big selling point in going PS5 versus Xbox Series path. All right, well, let's move on to the next story. And this actually, like, when I first heard about Persona 5 Strikers, I was like, what? Is there a new Persona game coming out? I was actually almost like shocked for a second. I was like, wow, this is our big story of the week. It's always a big week in gaming. But the Muso/Warriors crossover is actually known in Japan as Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers. It has been branded as Persona 5 Strikers in the West. So this has already been released in Japan quite a while ago, but it is coming out on PS4, Switch, and PC, and it is now being dated as the 23rd of Feb 2021. And the game itself, in-game, is set 6 months after the events of Persona 5. And I would assume, Swinny, I'm not sure if you know this, Persona 5 Royal, because that continues the story a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly because, up front, I've never ever played a Persona game, but they've always been that kind of on the outskirts, wishing that out of many of the series, that's the one that I'd wish to have a PS3, PS4, and beyond, and everything for that. But
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that you haven't, like, as part of the podcast, you need to go get a PS5, right? Because I feel like Persona 5, you just love that game from everything I hear about it.
know I'd love the Persona games. Like I know, it's weird, just like a game like Bloodborne and stuff. There's games that I know heaps about. That I do know a lot about the Persona games, but I just have never literally played them. But this is great. I think this is people have just been waiting for this announcement. It's kind of been a little. Atlas have been quite lackluster in recent times. With I think the was it the Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD remaster.
Yeah.
That's taken a while to come. I think that's due early next year as well. It Atlas have just gotten the turnaround for getting the Western releases has just been really really bad recently. I think people have fallen out of favor with them a bit.
I dispute recently. I mean, I feel like if they're one Japanese studio that's so odd with the way they deal with the West, it's Atlas. To the point where, they've released games with, like, they've literally released like 1,000 physical copies in Australia on some of their games. And they're like insane.
Australia, I'm talking broad. I'm just talking like US.
Oh, but even with the US, like, I get it. When we were growing up, games sometimes would take a year and a half to come to Australia, right? But I feel like for the most part, most studios have just gone, well, that's nuts because, people stream, like lots of reasons why you wouldn't do that. But it feels like Atlas just haven't changed that mentality at all. And they're still just been as bad as they were in the 90s and, companies like that were in the 90s. And also with their information, I think it's really weird. Like they themselves leaked this information out accidentally. I don't know if you saw that, Swinny.
No. I'm just still shocked that I don't know what the deal is, but if what the relationship is between Sony and Atlas in this regards. But the Switch seems perfect to get. They recently released Persona 4. I can't remember, is it Golden or whatever, the upgraded version of that is on Steam, or that went gangbusters. Like, the Switch is the perfect platform to re-release that stuff and put Persona 5 on. I don't understand. It seems strange. Xbox, who cares about Xbox when it comes to this stuff? I'm talking Switch makes sense,
I'm almost 100% sure they would have signed like a 2-3 year exclusivity deal with Sony to prevent it going from on any other console.
But it's
because
weird.
There's no way it wouldn't be released by now.
But it's weird to me because these games aren't like they're super popular and they do sell pretty decently, but they're not like the games that you'd expect Sony would care enough to do that with. I don't know. It's just weird to me that these games are still they're on the fringe of being mainstream games. I wouldn't say they're not, the games that are generally going to be up front and center in your JB Hi-Fi and stuff. If you know.
Oh, Persona 5 is mainstream now.
Yeah,
I don't think any other Atlas game is mainstream that I can think of. Persona 5 definitely is.
But I mean, they may not have treated that. I'm just thinking leading up to Persona 5. It seems strange to me that these games are kind of part of an exclusive deal. If that's the case, it just seems like such a money maker for them to release it on Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I'm a huge believer in capitalism, so money pushes things in.
I'm a huge believer in capitalism. If we didn't already have the episode title, that would be great.
I don't think there's anything wrong with capitalism. I think it's better than any other system that we've had before. I mean, look at our lives, right? But well, I'm more than happy for you to move to other countries that don't have capitalism, Swinny. I've got your ticket to Phnom right now.
No.
But I guess The Sims aren't on. It's not on the Switch, which is just mind-boggling.
Yes, that would be perfect on the Switch.
Given that Animal Crossing is now broken into the female demo as well, like big time. It already had like a big split between male and female players, but you can definitely see that the percentages have changed in a good way on the Switch. Yeah, Sims would go gangbusters, and you can never mount an argument that it couldn't run on there. And with Persona 5, to your point, like I actually forgot because I busted out my PS3 to play Demon's Souls, and that Persona 5 was released on PS3. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, just about that Sim stuff, I think EA is just still burnt from the Wii and Wii U days. That's all.
But I mean, I think we can all safely assume when the Switch is comfortably selling out the other platforms on games that are releasing on everything, that it's a pretty hot, property to sell your game on. I think Persona 5 would go nuts on the Switch, but The Sims would be the biggest. The Sims would be I this sounds outlandish, but I could see The Sims selling 10 million copies on the Switch.
So talking
that
about
wouldn't shock me.
Muso game. So this is, as we said, it's a warrior style game. Have you picked up? Is Horror Warriors out yet? Have you picked it up? Or
yeah, come on, dude.
But why aren't you playing that yet? Huh?
Age of Calamity. Well, I think
he's busy reviewing that game he won't tell us about.
No, Santa might be coming for me. For Age of Calamity.
Oh man, your Christmas day is just gonna be full of nothing but video games, isn't it?
I know. I think I'm getting stacked. It looks like a streamer's holiday or something like that. I think it's all streamer gear. So that's why I haven't been playing or talking about it. But I'm also trying to get through Hyrule Warriors, the first one that came out. But with the game of some other year stuff, I really want to prioritize that, so I might not be able to pick up those games for a while. But yeah, this is probably why you can't argue. This is the apex for Warriors / Muso games at the moment. It's just gone nuts at the moment, Muso games. So, all right, well, let's get into a news item that I was really kind of happy and sad about. Super Nintendo World. So that has been officially announced again, I guess you could say, for a release date. But this time I don't think it's going to change. Although, with the pandemic and everything like that, who knows? So in Universal Studios, so again, I think because people are getting really confused about this, just to sort of lay it out, you have Universal Studios in Japan, and there's a section of the park that is going to be dedicated to Nintendo. So Super Nintendo World. So they've done this before with Harry Potter and a few other properties, and you actually need a specific pass to get into that section of the park. For me, I wouldn't even visit Universal Studios apart from the fact now that it has Super Nintendo World. So it's been dated for the 4th of Feb 2021. And as they've always said, they wanted to make sure it was open before the Olympics. And given that they've locked in the Olympics for June, from memory, 2021, and it's going to be funny because they're going to call it the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. That's literally what they're going to call it next year, because it got delayed because of the pandemic. And some of the Japanese media...
Because they've got to keep the streak of the 4 years, in
Well,
the name.
they've moved the 4 years around before because of the wars and stuff like that, I believe. But I think it's more like the branding. They've invested so much into Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, and
Literally, like they're like it's
no
going
one
to cost them
really
so
cares
much.
that much. People just be happy that the Olympics happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of quaint. I kind of like these things. It's a great trivia question in 20 years' time, you know? And yeah, so the Japanese media got invited in to ride on some of the rides. Man, to me, I like, you know, and I have to say, I'm probably the resident Nintendo nerd. I almost buy everything. I almost regret not getting that Fire Emblem collection that they released, the $90 thing. It didn't make any sense to get it, and I still regret not getting it. Yeah, but man, I'm so excited about this. And just to let you guys know, I actually had planned to go to Japan with the family this year to visit the park, and amongst other things, I always wanted to go to Japan. And obviously, with the pandemic, we cancelled those plans. But now I'm a bit hesitant. And yeah, so what do you guys think of this? What do you think about them opening up a very physical and very, you know, like everyone's sharing, you know, the AR headsets on the Mario Kart ride? Like, what do you guys think about this?
If it was any other time, this would be like the childhood dream kind of thing. It's like, oh my god, like it. You look at it and it looks amazing. Apparently,
It looks so good.
apparently in person, it's not big area, but it's just so
No.
packed into it. But yeah, the idea of you better hope that they're sanitizing, as you said, those AR headsets on the Mario Kart ride and stuff. But the problem is, well, you know, I haven't. I won't say I've checked the current state of COVID in Japan, but I'm pretty certain we're in a much better situation in Australia than Japan at the moment. But
Well, Japan had been doing well, like almost as well as Australia, and I partly look at Japan because, you know, we have family who Japanese, you know what I mean by that, like extended family, and now they're suffering through like a third wave. And one thing to note about Japan is they've never really had like an enforced lockdown. It's actually been very voluntary. A lot of the initiatives that people have had. And it feels very much like it's finally catching up to them. So they're having a really bad outbreak at the moment. Like so much so that, you know, there are a lot of people murmuring about are they going to be even able to hold the Olympics if it gets out of control. So yeah, fingers crossed they get on top of it. But yeah, not many places have got it under control as well as like Singapore, Australia, New Zealand anyway.
But I'd be super excited to see what the apparent Donkey Kong section that they're apparently constructing nearby or next door looks like. That they've kind of people have I don't know if it's so much as a rumor. It's more like just okay, well that's what they're working on next. Because I love the idea of it looking like a mix of classic Donkey Kong with the girders and everything mixed in with tropical environments. That'd be cool just to see that. So. Yeah. As kid Swinny would have been over the moon to visit this. It would have been like the biggest thing in his life. So
well, it's kind of interesting because my son's 3 and he like totally knows Mario. He's really into Mario, and he even was saying when he turns 4, he literally said this morning. He goes, when I turn 4, I can play Mario, and I think I must have mentioned it or something a long time ago. So by the time we get there, I'm guessing he'll be like 4 or 5 because I certainly wouldn't go anytime soon. So probably more like 5 to be honest. It does look insanely good. And I think people do need to temper their expectations. It's not big. Like I think it's one of those ones you really could look around everything in like an hour or two.
Yeah, it looked almost small. There were like some drone/helicopter shots, and it felt like this weird self-enclosed Big Brother-esque thing in the middle of the rest of civilization.
Just like to bring in Big Brother into a Super Nintendo World Cup.
No, just like if you saw the pictures, the top-down views, it's interesting. It's like this contained, walled-up thing.
Yeah, but that's how these ones work. These themed sections. That's what they've started to do. So because it's high risk, going in making a theme park, right? Like. You'd almost there isn't even a Star Wars theme park. There's a Star Wars section in the Disneyland theme park, right? So, if Star Wars can't even carry the torch to have its own theme park, I don't almost think anything can these days. you need to bring multiple IPs together really to get people in the doors. So I think when they launch, they're gonna have 2 rides, and then by the way, they're also making one in Los Angeles as part of Universal Studios in Los Angeles. So
Okay.
supposedly that's gonna be bigger, but I would imagine maybe it's still just 2 rides. So yeah, I think you have to temper expectations. It's quite expensive, but it's just one of those things, you know. Like this would even for me it'd be a dream, you know.
Could you imagine an F-Zero roller coaster? Oh my god, that would look amazing. That would look amazing.
Well, you know, I'd be all for a theme park just around Nintendo stuff. Obviously, like there's so many awesome things you could do with each of the properties. Like, and for me, obviously, as a huge Metroid fan, I'd love anything to do with that franchise.
Rising
even Prime
lava.
Hunters. As
You
what?
get curled up into a little ball and flung around.
That'd be
tunnels.
cool. No, I'd
lava.
love it if you walk in and everything makes you seem like you should walk to the right, but you actually have to go to the left.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't think Mike appreciates that.
No, I think I get what you're alluding to, but no.
Well, what am I
don't.
alluding to?
Unfortunately, and I do say this legit, unfortunately, I didn't grow up on Nintendo stuff, so I can't share the same enthusiasm as you.
I actually have had this thought for a while, Mike, as part of the podcast. You are so into like Metroidvanias, and you play so many Metroidvanias.
Yet I've never played
But you've
the
never
original.
played Super Metroid specifically.
I know.
You haven't played
but,
Super
like,
Metroid?
No.
Oh my god, that's literally like my
Get
favorite
it
game
on.
of all time.
Hey, what is it on? Is it on
Yes.
the list of?
Yeah.
Ah,
No, it's. I was going to say it's on the Nintendo Switch SNES thing, so you can play
yeah, it's on there,
it
right?
anytime.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. That's my homework for this week.
You should play it. It's my favorite game of all time. So it'd be
Of all
funny if you came
time?
back and just shat
Whoa.
on it next week.
Does it still hold the test of time though? Is it still?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
Still
cool.
Great. Super
I
Metroid
think
is
it's-
great.
How come they never remastered that?
Well, yeah, that's
They
interesting
made
to
it
say
as
that.
good as possible.
Right.
True.
You
No,
can't.
actually,
You
the
can't
game's
remaster
flawless, but
perfection.
It's close.
All right,
Cool.
well,
All right. That's my homework.
I'm looking
Nice.
forward to this. I'll probably be the first one to see it. So I'll do a remote report when I'm over in Japan.
Yeah.
And
When's
a
that?
video on
20,
it.
30.
That'd actually be cool.
By the way, Japan are looking at phasing out the sale of petrol cars by 2030, which I think is also very cool. Totally un-game
Wait,
related.
there's a segment in the run sheet that I don't know about petrol cars.
No, but I figured it's important news.
Well, I think while we're still on Japanese topics and going into random Japanese topics, maybe Swinny can save us with the next segment.
Yes. So this week Square Enix announced a new remaster. Squeenix announced a remaster of the classic PlayStation 1 RPG SaGa Frontier.
With a capital G.
Well, all the SaGa games have a capital G. So
I didn't know that though.
lesson learned by.
Is it short for something like Sa and?
It's short for we're a Japanese developer and we like to make strange titles.
Of course.
So I've never played this game, but it also main reason for that is it was never released in PAL territories. So this is actually so it was released in the US in 1998 for, as I said, the PlayStation 1, but the remaster is coming to PC, PlayStation 4, and Switch and mobile in summer 2021. So yeah, I was about to say next year, but that's kind of redundant to say.
Right.
Summer 2021 next year, as if we're doing a Tokyo 2020 thing here.
Summer 2021 for us, we got to get this straight, or for the Northern Hemisphere.
Yes. So when I say
Yeah,
summer 2021, I'm always referring to like US stuff as part of.
So I always convert this to Q1,
so
Q2,
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just do that?
Because
Q1
because
2021.
I know that the majority of people listening are probably going to be faced in.
But everyone,
Well, why
the
don't you
cues
say
are
like
always the
June,
same.
roughly around June 2021?
Or just say
When
Q2,
is summer
Q3.
exactly? With
This
global
exact-
warming, summer doesn't even have like a proper
I
date
have
anymore.
complained about this exact thing in the podcast before, so I'm all with you. I'm not a fan of it.
Okay, well,
I like how he's jumping on our side about something we're complaining about him. What a move.
No, I'm saying that
We're bashing him and then he joins us bashing him.
I don't like companies using the whole summer, fall.
No, but I usually just translate it. When they say summer, I just change that to like
to
Q2,
winter
Q3.
for us.
Yeah.
But I would.
No, I don't change it to winter. That's even worse.
But even
why would you?
Q is
why
such a
would you then
business
convert
thing.
it to a less used thing?
No, but I'm saying to convert it for our hemisphere.
But
But
our
even
audience is like
Q is too much of a
50-50.
businessy thing. Q1, Q2, our current forecast to ensure that our stakeholder engagements will be met
but
by
Mike,
Q3
problem is
2021.
they don't
Just
give an
say
exact-
June.
But they don't know. Give an exact date. It's
Well,
always
just say roughly June 2021. Give
Yeah, I
or
don't like
take.
your model, Mike. I don't like your model.
What's wrong with my model?
Now we're
What's wrong
ganging
with
up
my
on
What's
you.
wrong with my human-centric model?
okay.
No,
let's
because
get
it's
back to
like
the
not
game.
necessarily June.
The game.
Okay, back to the game.
So Saga.
That will be released sometime in June 2021. Give or
Also,
take.
by the way, Mike, you know that their summer is not the way that we measure our winter. It's actually
Yeah, I
different.
know that, but that's what I mean. Our
No,
winter's
I'm saying
weird,
it's
so you
not
can't
6
even
months
use that.
difference. No, I'm
I know
not.
that.
I'm saying
It's
All right. I'm
they
giving
do
up
it in the middle of
I've
June.
given up on this. The people that wanted to learn more about this game clearly.
Yeah, let's go back to Saga.
I don't think anyone cares.
And more about
But hey,
you guys fight.
wait, there's one thing.
I don't
There's
think
one
anyone
thing. There's
cares.
one thing about this game that I do want to know. There's a new protagonist. How do you just make a remaster and put a new protagonist in?
Okay. So the game, I will say up front that this game actually, when I say classic PlayStation 1 RPG, it's actually not considered an upper echelon of Square Enix RPG games. So if there's any game that they could possibly improve, it's probably this one, and I think that's why they've actually added some more stuff to it, obviously, to also sell it. But it features updated graphics, cutscenes, and as you mentioned, a new protagonist.
Oh, but wait, hang on. So when you say new protagonist, on top of the existing protagonists, not replacing the protagonist that's already there?
I was about to explain. So the game,
Man, I literally almost spit up my water just then. Like, I was struggling.
the game, the Saga games, and they often feature like different stories happening at the same time. So they've obviously created, I think, Octopath Traveler, where you've got a lot of simultaneous things happening, and they often join up and things. But because
Gotcha.
I haven't
That's cool.
played this particular game, I can't say exactly how they're going to weave it in. But this game is actually the 7th in the Saga series, which began with what we know as the Final Fantasy Legend games, and also the Romancing Saga games. And I've played Romancing Saga 2 and 3.
Okay.
And they've also, just a reminder to anyone that's probably forgotten because there's been a lot going on this year, that they previously announced that it's a collection of Saga games it's called Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend, being released for Switch this month on the 15th of December. So,
Collection of
Is that still coming
Saga
out on
Final
time?
Fantasy Legend. Okay.
sorry, I couldn't hear Integod's question because you were repeating exactly what I said.
No, but I'm just trying to get my head around there. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy
know.
Legend. It's such a weird name.
It is a weird
Yeah,
name.
but that's because it wasn't called Saga in the West for a long time. It was Final Fantasy Legend.
So
Okay.
what did you ask Integod?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Is it still coming out on the 15th, or is it delayed?
Well, I actually read that in the article that was announcing this. So unless they've got outdated information, that was my understanding.
Okay. Okay, cool.
All
All right, let's get into movie news. Metal Gear
Yes.
Solid, a game that I feel like everyone could see as a movie. It was for me when I first played it, when it first came out, it felt like a movie experience on the PlayStation 1. It's at least whether it's actually going to happen or not. I still debate whether this movie's going to get made, but we have found a Solid Snake, and it's Hollywood star of the mega franchise Star Wars sequels, Oscar Isaac.
Ta-da!
So we have some of the writers and directors from Kong Skull Island, some influence from Star Wars Episode 9, the writer. Oh, that's a bit of a worry. I think Oscar Isaac is a great actor, though. I'm not a huge fan of the sequel
He's good.
Star Wars films, but he's a great actor. So.
I think we've never talked about Star Wars Episode 9 because you've given me crap before for actually liking Star Wars films that other people don't like. So
you're such a contrarian.
Yeah, but you like line dancing as well. So
wait, what?
There's nothing wrong with line dancing. He that would be a good show title. Swinny is the biggest contrarian. He's the kind of guy that's like, "Oh, Empire Strikes Back, nah, that's crap." But I really loved,
to clarify.
Solo.
Yeah, but I feel like
to clarify, I do not think that about Empire Strikes Back. Anyone that's listening.
Also, I think
straw
he's
man.
legit about it. I don't think he's a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian. I actually think he legit is just a contrarian. He actually likes other stuff.
Well, he is a contrarian because, by definition, he goes against what a lot of the mainstream views are.
Yeah, but I don't think he does it. He does it to be a snob. I don't think he fakes it, if you know what I mean. Because there's people
No, I
like
get
that
you.
are like, I don't like that because I'm blah blah blah. Oh, I don't like esports.
I think there's an
'cause
element he
esports
does.
is
Okay, all right.
stupid.
Let's get away from this
that kind of
deconstruction of how I think. I just wanted
Yeah, there's
to
been a lot.
I just wanted to mention the whole reason bringing it up is I did not like episode 9.
Okay,
Oh,
cool
you
story,
didn't?
bro.
No, I did not.
I haven't actually seen it yet.
Wait. I thought you said you did like it.
No, we'd never spoken about it because I was waiting to tell you at some point that I actually didn't like it because I watched it ages after it came out.
Well, now you just told him.
When did you watch it? We haven't
Do you
spoken
guys need a
about this.
moment?
Yeah, we're speaking about it for the first time now.
Wow, okay.
I don't know, I
See,
watched the
breaking
day.
news
I
on the
watched
podcast.
Can you guys still be friends after this?
Anyway, the reason I want to mention is, that also worries me seeing that because I also didn't like Jurassic World either. So I haven't seen
Man.
Skull Island though.
Yeah,
That
so,
was
like,
good.
Oscar Isaac, like he's a great actor, man. Like he was definitely my favorite actor in The Force Awakens, so Star Wars 7, I guess. You know, he wasn't used very well, but I mean the writing was so bad, blah blah blah. You know, the Star Wars sequels. But in Ex Machina, he was so good in that. Like he was amazing.
Yeah,
in that
he
movie.
was.
Like
See, I remember more for roles like that for some reason, more serious roles.
Well, no, but I think like, you know, to me, the mark of any great actor is you kind of forget
Versatility.
No. Is that you kind of get lost in their performance where you kind of don't even think of them as Oscar Isaac. You just encapsulate them in the character
that's
they're
true.
playing.
That's true.
And you don't feel any connection with his character in other films. Like,
But
I
do you think
that
it's also
marks
because
great
he
actors.
hasn't yet? He's not the kind of person that sort of had that huge role where you remember him for that particular role
What do you
more
mean?
than anything else.
He's been like in pretty big movies.
You mean like
dude.
Star Wars? Yeah, I guess.
He was Apocalypse and X-Men, you know, like he's been
I know.
pretty big roles.
It's like, what do you want?
No,
I mean,
sir. Okay, how do I
Okay,
put this?
okay, can
that
I
role
pause you,
that's
Mike?
defined him as
I'm
as
going to
that.
pause you. So I'm Oscar Isaac right now, and I'm like listening.
Yeah,
oh,
hi.
where's a new gaming show? Okay,
Because you listen
Big
to our
Week in Gaming.
podcast, all right?
Oh, they're talking about Metal Gear Solid. Great. Like, I'll get to listen to this
Yeah.
guy. Oh, he hasn't really done anything. Like,
No, hang
he's
on.
not been
No,
anything big. What does this guy need to do?
Hang on,
He's
hang on.
literally in the biggest movie, one of the
Hang
biggest
on.
movie franchises of all time.
Yeah, all right. Maybe I phrased that wrong. What I'm saying is, when you look at a character like Forrest Gump, that defines the rest of your career. It's so hard to shake that off. Whereas I
Sure.
feel with him in the movies that he's done, he didn't necessarily have those kind of characters that defined him for the rest of his career. They were big movies,
Wait.
but the characters within the movies didn't have to lock him into that particular
Wait,
character.
use Forrest Gump as example when Tom Hanks is like, he is not like defined
Yeah,
by
I
that.
know. Yeah, I
I'm
guess
like,
it's probably,
wait, that's a
it's
weird
probably a bad example.
I know. I was thinking through all the like Wilson, you know, Castaway, all that kind of stuff.
Actually, he's done a lot of different. Wow, it's strange.
Big.
Maybe he's a perfect example of
Philadelphia.
someone who's had so many
It's like-
different.
It might be the worst example you can actually ever pick.
Yeah, it probably is the worst because he's been an actor that's had so many strong characters in so
better
many different
example.
movies that it's hard to lock him into one single
Better
thing.
example is probably someone like Sean Connery. Like he,
Yeah,
for
okay.
a long time, he didn't shake the Bond stuff. Now,
Yeah, okay,
got
that's true.
older
Yeah, that's a
and-
good example.
yeah,
But you guys get what I mean, right? I don't
You
feel
know,
like
can I just say, Bond kind of does that to you, right? Because I think Daniel Craig now, for most people, because he was a serious actor, that dude.
yeah.
I just feel like no
Nice.
one can think of him as anything other than Bond now.
Pierce Brosnan.
I can't think of anything other than coming
Sorry,
out
what
of
was
the
Swinny
water
saying?
half naked.
So, like Pierce Brosnan happened to him. Timothy Dalton
Yeah.
happened to him. You know?
No, that's what I was trying to say. That like I feel like Bond is such a powerful.
But that's what I mean. It's the character, right?
Such
It's such a
in.
powerful character. Whereas I feel like Isaac hasn't played those super powerful characters.
you
Dare I
forgot his
say,
name.
huh? His character was almost like a supporting character in Star Wars. So it
Right.
wasn't in some
one of the main leads,
ways. It was one of the main characters, but it wasn't like the main
And tell me
protagonist.
this, I just want to talk about this Metal Gear Solid movie for a second. Is that possible? All right.
Sure, okay,
Yes.
fine, if you insist.
So something threw up a red flag. There's already red flags about any Hollywood adaptation of
Was it the Star Wars part? Was it?
No, it's
Okay.
might be muted part. So the director started talking about Big Boss And I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, what?
So I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to try to spoil anything, but there's going to be
Yeah, don't
inherent.
spoil it. Don't spoil
No,
it.
but there's going to be inherent spoilers here. We have to talk about because I cannot.
No, I don't want to hear it because I haven't played all the Metal Gear Solid games yet.
No,
What? So we got to wait 20 years until you play them? Are you for real?
Specific to Metal Gear Solid, right?
But can you just say? I think I already know what it is. It's basically they're using characters from future games,
no,
rather than going through the first game, right?
No. So this is very. Yeah. So Big Boss is not in Metal Gear Solid, right?
The original Metal Gear.
Well, can I finish? Big Boss is not in Metal Gear Solid, but he's a very important part of. So if they're just planning on, okay, they're telling a story of Metal Gear Solid or an adaptation of it, and they're using flashbacks because he's very important to the story, that's fine, right? But if they start changing that, like, to me, it just messes with everything to do with Metal Gear Solid if you actually cast someone as Big Boss and he's in the story. And I wonder also, I mean, the problem is, like, how do you handle Liquid Snake? You know, is it going to be Oscar Isaac playing Liquid Snake? Because
you freeze them.
You have, like, how can you not?
No, but there's plenty of movies that have characterizations of the same character, but they use different actors for artistic intent, right?
Like what?
Even though it's the same person, you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, Swinny, but I just don't think they will.
Because with Big Boss, okay, so if anyone doesn't know...
Hey, don't spoil it.
No, I have to. It's my point, right?
You can't.
Nah,
I
too late.
literally don't want to hear this spoiler.
The game's been out for way too long, and you're still playing Half-Life. Again.
All right, I'm going to take my headphones off, and when I see your activity finish...
All right.
Wait, is that what you're going to do?
And anyone... Disclaimer to anyone who hasn't played the games yet.
For the sake of not being able to talk about some stuff like this, we need to talk
totally.
Right?
I'm literally going to take my headphone off, so I'll join... Again, when I take my headphones back on, when I don't see any
we'll tell you when it's safe.
This is ridiculous.
Mike, you stop talking, and then Mike, you start talking when he's finished, okay? You get what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah,
okay, I'm going to take my headphones off now.
I'm going to stop talking now, okay.
Okay. All right, Mike. As you probably know, Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are clones of Big Boss, right? Wait, is Mike gone as well?
No, I'm here, but I'm not allowed to talk. Because if I talk, he's going to think he needs to come back. Now he's going to come back in the middle of it, and you haven't finished the spoilers, and then he's going to be pissed off at me.
My whole point was, right, is Oscar Isaac going to play Solid Snake and Liquid Snake because they're clones of Big Boss, who apparently is also being cast in the movie. So my whole point of this was...
I get it, yeah.
Like they're just messing with the whole central storyline of the first game.
They might be messing with
anyway,
it,
all right. I'm going to stop talking.
But wait, they're clones, but are they exact clones?
All right, I'm going to stop talking so we can get our host back.
Okay, you can come back. Integot. Hello?
Is Mike...
Yeah.
Hey there?
Yeah, so, like, it doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, if they're clones, what the hell, dude?
All right, we've had our bit.
We've had our bit. It's all good. It's a safe space now. You're fine.
We do need to talk about games, so we need to figure out a better way to do that. All right, cool. I think you scared him off.
I scared him off. It's safe. You can come back to your safe space. Should we just... was there anything else you wanted to cover for that, or should we move on to the...
I'm over
Pikachu does ASMR.
Have you stopped talking about it?
Yes, we've moved on to the Pikachu does ASMR.
I like how Mike did not follow at all what I said.
Hey, I did. I did.
I can visually see you interrupting him.
Whoa. Hang on. So, Swinny goes...
No, don't.
Are you off mute as well, Mike? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I shouldn't say anything. But I had to say something, because otherwise you'd think I'm gone off as well.
Let's move on.
Just as a background to everyone, I can see your mic activity, right? When we're recording. And I'm like, hey, okay, don't say anything. Let Swinny say whatever he wants. Then you can start saying,
but
and then I know to come back on.
He told me to talk. He asked me where I was. What was I supposed to do? He's like, okay, Mike, you still there? Where'd you go? Swinny? Blah, blah, blah.
All right, we right to move on?
Yeah, can I do the Pikachu part?
All right, let's get into Pikachu.
Can I do the Pikachu?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
ASMR. The Pokemon Company has released the third in its line of ASMR videos. This time featuring Pikachu. Oh yeah.
All right, that's enough.
You like that?
Where's the mic button from Mike? Hey. So yeah, have you listened to any of these ASMR
Nope.
videos, Swinny?
Nope.
I did as part of this exercise.
Did you like them? Are you into it now?
Like the thing is,
Did you get a boner listening to them?
so
Hey.
so what I realized, so this is the third one they've done, right? There was I opened up the Squirtle one, and it was pretty much just rolling like beach waves for 15 minutes.
Oh, that's all right, isn't it?
Like, well, I always listen to that stuff as like like relaxation, like
Yeah.
And I'm like, have I been listening to ASMR already? Am I already indoctrinated?
Well,
But,
I think technically you have, right? Like that's literally, if you look at the reported, I don't know if there's much scientific basis of it, but the reported benefits of it, it's kind of like essentially what you're doing, right?
no, but there's no like it's meant to trigger that tingling sensation, which is definitely not what I get when I listen to
I've never had that.
rolling water as part of like relaxation music.
Does it have to?
Well, that's what ASMR means.
Okay.
Sensory meridian response. So it's meant to trigger
Right,
a tingling sensation kind of at the back of your neck, and around there. And that's why it's often
in the back of your neck or your pants.
It's often set up as like binaural, so it's like coming from both sides as if someone directly speaking to each of your ears. So that's where the whole, like often it is also like a fetish for people as well because of that. So it's just weird to me that the Pokemon company get in on this. And I know it's not inherently a sexual thing. It's just weird to me.
But I guess when you think about it, it fits perfect because Squirtle is water, it's waves, it's beaches, that sort of soothing sounds. You've got Charmander, who's the fire, so it's got the fireplace, it's got the crackling sounds. And then you have Pikachu, which I assume is, thunder, forests. Birds.
You're right on the first two. This is just Pikachu running around in a room saying Pikachu and running up to the microphone and like the footsteps and stuff. Yeah, so the other two were spot on. But Pikachu's just like, I don't know, people like listening to Pikachu. And
Pikachu! Can I challenge you, Mike, as well? I think the first two, fair enough. Like the way you've structured it, that's true. Relaxing. I'm not sure if thunderstorms are relaxing.
No, I find them. I find them relaxing. I find thunderstorms sound very relaxing.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? I just find it relaxing. Just listening to the birds chirp and the thunderstorm. I find that stuff relaxing.
But the birds.
I find rain relaxing. I find thunderstorms relaxing. I do.
Has anyone listened? I don't want to get into too much details, but has anyone listened to ASMR?
No, it's not my thing.
So I just said that I just checked it out as part of the Pikachu video. That's about it.
Oh, but no, I mean like the regular ASMR that you'll see on Twitch or something. No.
I've come across and been like, oh, that's what it sounds like, but I haven't said listening.
Not into it.
Yeah, so because like I don't like to judge things always, just like based on my impression of it. So I tried to listen to it. It is like weird. It is a weird experience if you listen to it the way you're meant to, like in stereo and like close your eyes and everything like that. It is it's not my thing, but I can sympathize with the appeal of it. It is a weird sensation. You should try it. It's
but
quite
this
funny.
This isn't what I'm kidding around here with people whispering and stuff, right? We're talking about other types of sounds.
Whispering is something that apparently triggers it really easily. I don't think Pikachu's whispering, but I could be wrong. It probably is like that.
That sounds creepy more than anything else. Pikachu.
He's behind you. Actually, it's not that far off, that video. It's not that far.
Really?
I mean, what else can they do, really? He only says one word, so... All right, let's round out the news.
Electric Kitsy.
The final part, which is...
Oh, this is the most exciting part.
True Achievements, 12 Days of Christmas, which I'm excited to see what the hell this is.
Yes, so my favourite event of the year, screw actually Christmas Day or New Year's or, my favourite event of the holiday is True Achievements, 12 Days of Xmas. So this is actually, for anyone that doesn't know, I'll frame that True Achievements is the
For anyone that doesn't know, for 99.9% of the population that doesn't know, yes, please enlighten us.
Well, you didn't let me finish my sentence. That doesn't know about True Achievements.
Also 99.9%. Yes, go on.
So you just crapped on anyone that found this video because all fans of True Achievements. And
No, I kid. Okay, I'm a fan through you. Anything you're a fan of, I'm a fan of other than esports.
Inclusive here, especially of the interests of the hosts. Thank you very much. So, True Achievements is the biggest Xbox achievement community, and it is a brilliant website that holds a lot of community events throughout the year. So, whether or not they're events that are competitive, where people are stacked against each other head to head to compete, or people join teams that then compete with other teams, or things that you can just do by yourself. And that's what 12 Days of Christmas is. It's just a nice little challenge that you can enter, you register for it, and it just gives you a set of achievements that are just really, really cool. A set of challenges that are really, really fun and interesting to do. So while I definitely don't focus on getting achievements in all the games I play. I used to back in the day, and I kind of, decided to focus only on RPGs. This is the one time of the year where I will actually break that trend, and I just love the idea of entering this competition. So it's in its fourth year, and what it does is it mirrors the whole Christmas Carol, 12 Days of Christmas thing, where it goes, it starts going up each day. So what they do is the first day of the 12 days, they give you a challenge, and you don't know what it is until the day. So it could be, I'm just looking at some previous examples. So in 2018, the first day was one weird achievement. So it was an achievement that doesn't end in a 5 or a 0 in its amount, which is actually an odd achievement. So if you're thinking
that is really cool,
an achievement that's worth 3 gamer score or worth 12 gamer score, majority of them is going to be 10, 15, 20, 5 or 0. And then the next day, they will give you a completely different challenge, but there's 2 achievements you have to do, and it keeps building up throughout the 12 days. So in that same year, the next day was 2 bonus contents. So it goes like 1 weird achievement, 2 bonus contents, and this next one was 2 achievements from a DLC or a title update. So what they do is they just create these really, really cool challenges. And some of them, like the stuff I like was you have to unlock the word Noel by using the first letter of each achievement that you unlock in order. So you have to unlock an achievement starting with N, then O, then E, then L. So it's really cool. Noel. So
who is that?
Oh,
anyway,
God. So
the terrible jokes.
Yes,
I don't know. Anyway, move on.
Wait, you don't know Noel?
I don't know who that is. Is he does he run True Achievements?
Shut up, you're an idiot.
All right, how about they did a similar version a couple of years later for Feliz Navidad, where you had to...
that makes more sense.
That's way harder, but just think about it. They did one for one a year where you had to spell Christmas in order. So that's just really, really cool.
It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's really cool that they do this. And each day they announce a new one, but you can't work on that day until you complete the previous day. So you've got to go through all 12 days in order. And you don't have to do them all on that same day. You've actually got the whole month to do it.
Oh,
and there's all you get at the end is whenever you complete community events, they put badges on your profiles and True Achievements and stuff. So it's just for fun, Unlike the bloody Xbox Hall of Fame crap that the Microsoft did with that incentivized people to do horrible things or kind of work.
It wasn't set up right,
and then gave them nothing for it.
Right, people kind of like within the rules kind of did dodgy things, right? This is just people don't do that for this, although there is one exception. So this year, so it's day 5 so far, and on the 4th day this year they did 4 achievements that do not have a guide on True Achievements.
Oh,
now let me explain. A lot of achievements already have guides on True Achievements, right? Even for simple things that are story related, people will go unlocks as part of the story, and it's just something when a game comes out, people eventually put guides for every achievement. So suddenly you're like, okay, so I have to unlock games achievements from that do not have a guide. So what people were doing was they'd find a game, they'd unlock the achievement for that one that doesn't have the guide, and then they add a guide straight after. So no one else can get it.
Oh,
That's mad.
that is evil.
That's mad.
So someone.
Aren't they supposed to be a community, not?
So this is where you will always get some. You always get some bad apples. I was lucky.
So evil.
There was an achievement that was halfway into the game in Valhalla that didn't have it. So I'm like, okay, that was an easy one. And I think, I don't know, there's some other ones I got, but it was like, oh man, that's dodgy. So, but
That's super
other than
dodgy.
that,
I love it.
it's really cool. And people, for instance, the one yesterday was unlocked five achievements are worth exactly 100 gamer score. So people in the forums for each day, when they announce it, it's like, oh, this game has some keeps of stuff, but you don't actually need that. What you can do is TrueAchievements is built in such a cool way that you have your own tracker and it says view my valid achievements. So you click on it and it will show you all the achievements from games that you've unlocked, that's on your profile that meet the criteria for each day. So you don't have to go there sitting there chasing down an achievement that starts with C for Christmas. Like it'll do the hard work for you. But there's some of those challenges get tough. And it gets me playing some games that I otherwise would have left on the shelf. So it's really cool though. It's an event that I love to do each year. So yeah.
How much did they pay for this plug?
It's they paid me with the amazing work that they do on that site
and the adoration of all your fans. Hey, so okay, all jokes aside.
Wait, just hang on.
Did you actually see this?
As opposed to Mike, who just shat on.
Well, hang on. Whoa. I'm not.
So direct any hate to Mike at bigwigpod.com. I will say, integot, not Mike, that I actually love TrueAchievements. So I don't have.
So do I.
I don't know if I'm registered on there or not, but I think it's an amazing thing where you have something that like you have to say is niche, but they've executed the hell out of it. They've done everything.
Crazy
in that world, everything you can do around it, everything supporting it, everything, like every idea I feel like they've really brought to life and executed in such a good fashion that I just love this kind of stuff where it's just like
it is
a community that's taken it to like and turn it up to 11 in its space.
They do have true trophies as well. It doesn't have the size that True Achievements does, but I've mentioned before, if you're on True Achievements and that a game doesn't have a guide, it will show a related achievement on True Trophies for PlayStation, for instance. So it's
even that. Wow.
Both ways. So if you like trophies on PlayStation, if you go on True Trophies, it will show all the guides that people have written for Xbox game, the version of the game, and they're generally 99% exactly the same criteria. So yeah.
So feel free to email me, but as I was trying to say before you interrupted me this time, whilst I'm not into achievement hunting, I used to be. I think I stopped at like 100. How much am I on now, Swinny? 129, 130,000, whatever.
I don't know. I just remember being like you when you were caring about it. I'm like, Mike, I'm challenging you. I'm going to beat your game score. And you're like,
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And then I got ahead of it, and then you stopped caring.
Well, I stopped caring. What's the point? After that point,
the true competitor.
No, exactly. I had nothing left to prove. So
you lost.
Well, yeah, but
it was kind of like
I simply
he didn't really reciprocate.
I simply, passed the beacon to the next generation.
He grew up.
Achievement hunting. So now I'm not into achievements at all at the moment, and my life is much better. But at the same time, I totally, and maybe because I used to be into achievement hunting, I completely appreciate the value of something like True Achievements. Not just for the massive community that it's created, but even simple little things like the fact that it gives achievements a real value, not some random value that, press A and you get 1,000 points. I remember those games. So I think it's contributed a lot to the community. But I think we should maybe, as we said earlier in the episode, we should do a segment soon about achievements.
We have.
We just did it.
When?
No, I know what
No.
you're saying. I think
You know what I
about
mean? Like a proper one
deep
about
dive
the pros and cons, the
yeah.
different things about it,
Sure.
good achievements, bad achievements, fun achievements, not so fun achievements. You know,
Lots
the
of
works.
bad achievements. Lots of bad achievements.
All right. Well, let's get into my favorite segment of every week,
Yes.
which is the bargain bin. So flying through it again. Epic Game Store, very cool. We said this last week. Cave Story Plus is available now. So jump on Epic Game Store. Make sure you add that to your profile. With the Switch, Swinny highlighted Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, which is 40% off until the 15th of December, and Earthlock, which is 80% off until the 3rd of Jan. PlayStation, not too many bargains or sales. I mean, a lot of things that have already gone on sale, but I did want to highlight, as this is on all platforms, but Red Dead Online is, available as a separate app. So that's the online component of Red Dead Redemption 2.
So now you can get just that.
Yes,
You don't have to get the full
and
game.
it's on
Okay.
really deep discount at the moment. So it's like about $7.50 Australian dollars, depending on what platform you buy it on. It's about $5 US. It is going to go back to about $30 US and Australian. So I think it's more like 20 US. What I will call out is, and we don't know what the dollar amount is, but they've already confirmed that if you have Red Dead Online, so you can buy it for cheap now. So it's like $5 US, $7.50 Australian. In the future, they're going to give you an option if you're on Red Dead Online to buy the full version as an add-on of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I think there might be a bit of a cheap way to get into Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm guessing. I wouldn't imagine they're going to charge full freight for that upgrade. So they haven't said how much it's going to be, but yeah, if you're interested in playing Red Dead Redemption 2, but you would want to play the online game, I'd probably go down that route and see how that goes.
It's brilliant marketing when you think about it because of the amount of money they'll make through the game.
But I would say Red Dead Redemption Online seems to be struggling versus Grand Theft Auto Online, given that they're going down this path. And with Xbox, as always, there's so many updates. Swinny, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, so huge one. So first of all, a couple of features they added. You can now preload upcoming Game Pass games before they're released. So that's pretty neat. Also on the console...
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
So there's a feature of the Xbox Series that I didn't know about that I think is like a hugely awesome feature. Just say I've bought the disc version of Cyberpunk 2077, and you correct me if this is also a Xbox One feature, Swinny, but I saw on Twitter, and some people confirmed this, that just say I bought the disc version of Cyberpunk 2077, then I can actually install the game, even though I don't own it. I can install it on my Xbox Series X, and then when I get the disc, it sort of activates the game, so I can have it already pre-installed before I have to like buy the game, put it in, and then install it, which can take a while, right? I think that's an awesome feature.
I'm fairly certain that's already something on an Xbox One, but the fact that it's cross-gen, because
it's an awesome feature. I didn't know about that. That's really cool.
It's your library once you've kind of activated on there, so it would be in your library on the other platform at that point.
So wait, do you need the disc to activate it, or you can activate it before you get the disc?
No, you need the disc to activate it and to play it, but you can download all the files onto your Xbox Series X
before you have the disc.
Before you even have the disc.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I don't know if
I didn't know
Xbox
Xbox One did that as well. That's
I
such a
recall
cool
it
feature.
having that.
So it's because the difference is there's no cross-gen thing. So I've done that on moving from one Xbox One to another Xbox One. Because
that's such a cool feature.
Your library, and all you need is the disc to reactivate it.
It's kind of useful if it includes a day one patch, though, because otherwise it's still a bit.
To just quickly there's a lot to get through. So the console Xbox app for Game Pass now have a coming soon section, which is really great. It's always been a hassle to find these lists, honestly. So talking about those new additions, there's heaps. So available now. Is Control, the big one.
That's big.
Huge, not the Ultimate Edition, as Integot mentioned before. So just your vanilla Control, but still great for anyone that wants to get into that, including myself. Slime Rancher.
But wait, let's just pause. I just want to pause on this one and one other one. But this is really annoying that they're only releasing the console version of it. Because
why is it not on PC?
There's no real reason outside of the PC version has ray tracing, so maybe they didn't want to release it that way.
It doesn't have to have ray tracing on
it's
PC.
Probably Epic.
Why? Yeah, but it's on the Microsoft Store as well.
Yeah, well, I wonder
PC.
because Control was originally...
And it's on Steam.
Control was originally an well, yeah, okay, because Control was originally an Epic Game store exclusive.
Yeah,
so
it launched as a time exclusive, but it's on Steam. I got it on Steam now.
Yeah,
So
okay.
because they didn't have it as part of PC, I was like, oh, I'll just go buy the Ultimate version then.
Okay, it is annoying, but there's a lot to get through, so I don't want to spend too long on this.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about Slime
Hey,
Ranchers.
Indigo, you're the one that wants to speed through
No,
this.
no. I do want to talk about Doom Eternal though. Go on.
So
I want to talk about Slime Rancher.
yeah, Slime Rancher is a great game. That's on console. Fogs is also on console Game Pass. These are all available now. Doom Eternal, which we already knew about for console, was already added, is now being added to PC Game Pass. So that's
so
great.
excited about playing this. Man. This is the value.
A game called V11 Hell R, which is probably Valhalla Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk bartender action is available on.
So this is a mix of Valhalla and Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
I know. I feel like they're trying to do it for SEO.
Okay, well, the badly done SEO for Valhalla, if that's the case. So on PC Game Pass, we've got on console and PC, got Haven being added, and Yes, Your Grace. So available soon. Some of these very soon in a couple of days. You've got Monster Sanctuary on console. You've got Starbound on PC, so they're both 8th of December. On the 10th of December, you've got Assetto Corsa.
Nearly bought that when it was on special. They always do that.
Gang Beast, which is a fun local co-op game on 10th of December, and super hot Mind Control Delete on console on 10th of December as well. Now, on console and PC, we've got Greedfall. So the pattern that we talked about last week stands. So Greedfall's been added to console and PC, so I'm super excited to play through the PC version with its new achievement list. And Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair for console and PC, which is apparently very good on 10th of December.
Yeah, we should play that, because I hear really good things about that game.
Yeah. So now, unfortunately, with all these great additions, and Microsoft have said that, it's not all they're going to announce for the holiday season, so I reckon they're going to knock out a couple of big hitters still. But leaving Game Pass, we've got on the 11th of December, eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020.
Oh, no, not eFootball. Oh, damn.
A lot of people like Pro Evo. So on 2020 is leaving console on the 11th of December. And leaving on the 15th of December is all the following games. So Untitled Goose Game is leaving
gotta play that.
console Game Pass. Naruto,
should definitely play that if you haven't played it before.
Yeah,
no, I have played it.
Short game, so you could easily got time to play it. Naruto Boruto Shinobi Striker is leaving console Game Pass on 15th December. Infinifactory is leaving PC Game Pass. Metro Last Light Redux is leaving PC Game Pass. And
currently on special, by the way. Sorry, on Xbox One, it's like $5 or something.
Well, you don't need to buy it if you want to beat it in the next 9 days. So. And then the next 5 games are leaving. They're all on console and PC Game Pass, are leaving on 15th of December. Is Age of Wonders, Planetfall, Pathologic 2, The Turing Test, Ticket to Ride, and Mud Runner. That was a lot to get through.
How funny was that achievement for, what was that game? Truck Life or something?
That was a Steam achievement, though.
That was the Steam achievement where after 2 hours, the achievement popped up saying you can't get the game refunded.
That was funny. There was only 13% of people that unlocked it as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
hey, I wonder if many people went back to play the Stanley Parable to unlock that "Don't touch it for 5 years" achievement. I gotta get back to that one.
Oh, I didn't know there's an achievement like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's an achievement in the Stanley Parable where if you have to, I think it's called leave the house or something, and you can't touch the game for 5 years.
Ah, very good, very good. All right, well, let's jump into my impressions of a game I played this week. So I probably won't even cast this really as a full-on review or anything, but I played through an 100%ed Gato Roboto. So one thing I do want to do is play through all the Metroidvanias that are on Xbox Game Pass for PC. And there's quite a lot, actually, which is very good because I love Metroidvanias. Have either of you played this game?
No. What's it about?
I remember when it was announced and it looked cool.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll break it down in a few ways. So, one thing for me is with any Metroidvania, does it have that, because there's a lot of games now that are called Metroidvanias, which I would argue, although they do have the elements of being a Metroidvania, don't have the feel, to me, of being a Metroidvania. And when I say that, one big component for it to me is, it gives you that sense of you growing in power, and everything that you're sort of adding in to your arsenal becomes integral for your movement, how you move around the world, how you fight, you know, like giving you that sense of like, I'm getting more and more powerful and then unlocking more and more of the map, which is to me why, you know, because you could mount the argument that, you know, and I think we've spoken about this before, Swinny, that the classic Zelda games are like by definition Metroidvanias. You go through, you can sequence break, which I think is another important component of Metroidvanias. You add on new items.
Required.
What was that? Sorry.
Sequence breaking it's not required, but like it's important, but I don't think it's required.
It's not required, but I think like as a real, you know, deep lover of the genre, I think it's a very strong homage, and you know, any studio that's making a Metroidvania, I think, is remiss if they don't put like a sequence breaking kind of component into it. And Gato Roboto has that in it as well. It has, I think, even in its achievements. So like from the Metroidvania feel, everything like that, this game is very much a Metroidvania, you know, all the way through. I could list so many examples of, you know, whether it be the music, the art, the style, where they're referencing all the classics, you know, the Symphony of the Nights, the Super Metroid, Metroids, like directly, and then also not a Metroidvania, but Mega Man as well. There's a lot of things in this that, you know, it's very obvious. It's a huge homage to Mega Man, like the boss fights as well. So from that, huge tick from me in terms of being like a really core Metroidvania. Presentation, like I think this is going to be the strongest suit for this game. This game, it looked amazing prior to playing it. I always really wanted to play it when it got announced on the Switch. And, you know, it really does come through very strongly, like a very, very strong visual identity. And all the way through the game, like fantastic animation, characterization, just looks really cool and cute.
Is it monochrome?
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. You know, it's crazy to me that it genuinely is a 1-bit game. Like, nice. It is only black and white.
I like Minute was similar with that as well.
Yeah, well, there's a few more games coming out like in this style of like true 1-bit style games. I do want to find an excuse to talk about this as I'm a huge handheld fan, but the Playdate, so that's a handheld coming out from Panic. All of the games on that are going to be 1-bit as well. So it's having a bit of a renaissance, the sort of 1-bit style games. And I guess when you think about it, like it has to bring down the cost of developing, and there's not that many people that actually worked on this game from Doinksoft. So
it brings down the cost, but it brings its own challenges with making sure everything is like visually identifiable by the player in that two color scheme, you know?
Yeah, and just on that, like from a graphics perspective, I find that this game, because of your exact point there, the challenge of making things visually striking and easily identifiable, which I never struggled with in this game, but I did feel that I was more sort of zoomed in than I'm used to in modern Metroidvanias, where they've taken the character out a little bit and given you more space. Like, you know, very different graphically, obviously, but Ori kind of has a very zoomed out perspective, which to me I actually quite like, just because then you can sort of see the puzzle and the platforming in front of you. Whereas this, it felt a little bit not quite claustrophobic, but it was getting to that point where I think they had to really kind of zoom in a little bit just so that it could really make it obvious what they're trying to represent on the screen, given that they've only got black and white to play with. The sound and music in this game is just spot on, like perfect. You know, so from a graphic perspective, from the look and feel, everything. But ultimately, like my final view of the whole game, like I didn't really love this game at all. Like I think, like, you know, it's one of those games to me, it sort of executes everything it's trying to do. It just, to me, maybe it just didn't click with me, to be honest. Like I feel like some people, I could imagine people saying they love this game. Like that wouldn't shock me at all. But just to me, it just sort of like never really clicked fully, and I never fell in love with the game. And I was like really deep in the game and going, oh, I'm not going to love this game. Like it's pretty obvious. Oh, and I did 100% it. And it does have its own charm, but something about it just doesn't, you know, it's going to be too harsh to say this, but my feeling for it was just, it didn't have an edge to it that really made it compelling to me. It felt almost formulaic in its eccentricities and how it's been put together. Like the very obvious homages, the nods to other series, the dialogue, everything. It just, I don't know, it just felt a little bit formulaic to me in its oddness. Not
I
being
had the same problem with Axiom Verge, if you've played that.
So yeah, like, I would certainly rank this below Ori, and I'm going to start ranking all of the, on our scale, all the Metroidvanias that I play through, and then, obviously you guys can add to that as well. But having said that, it is a good game. And it is a short game as well. It's only literally 3 or 4 hours to 100% it. So, given that it's on Game Pass, highly recommend for people to just try it out if they're into Metroidvanias, because this game very much, if you play even 15 minutes, I think the week prior I'd played 45 minutes of it, you really get the sense of the game straight away. So if you're not enjoying it at the start, it's never really going to change. You kind of know it within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the gameplay loop. So
I've got a very specific Swinny question.
yeah.
So you're playing on Xbox Game Pass PC, correct?
Yes, correct.
Which, it's definitely on Xbox Game Pass PC and also console Game Pass. You mentioned an achievement. Did you actually unlock an achievement, or did you just know that there's achievements?
No, so, because when I checked my profile, I was like, hey, I got no achievements for this game. Because sometimes I like to, with Ori, just go, after I've finished the game, because personally, we're very different. Personally, I find achievements to be very intrusive to the game, so I turn them off on console.
Same.
But I do like to check it after. If I've beaten the game, or Ori 100%ed it, then I look, hey, is there something fun that I could do, or is there something interesting, and how many people have done it, all that kind of stuff. I love that side of it to add to the game. So I went to do that with Gato Roboto, given that I, got through it 100%. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wait a second, there's nothing. I got no achievements on my profile. So
just because
I looked at it online.
Yeah, just because you mentioned it, it did the flag for me, because I knew that this game didn't have a PC Game Pass achievement list.
Oh, you already knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, but I wanted to make sure that the information that I'm looking at was actually correct, and it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, but it's cool. We talk about. I've talked about achievement a lot in this. It's a true Metroidvania in that they've got one for finishing the game without collecting a single health upgrade. Finishing the game under an hour. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of maybe I'm being too harsh, but ultimately, reviews to me are always subjective. For me personally, this game didn't click with me, and it really should be up my alley. I love the graphical presentation. I don't think that was poor. I think the sound and music was awesome. It's just something about the game. It just didn't have a heart to me that clicked. And I said, I could imagine someone else play this game and be a Metroidvania fan like me and just go, oh, this is one of my favorite Metroidvanias. I genuinely could see that as well. Because again, it does strike back to the shorter length Metroidvanias, where I feel like that's the biggest problem I'm having with the genre, that some of the games are just going on too long. And I don't think they ever should go for too long, Metroidvanias. I feel personally they should be a 5 to 8 hour experience, the first playthrough at most. So yeah, but having said all of this, check it out. It is a very cheap game, and I think for the value and the cost, it does do. It's not a $60 game, right? It's even on sale, you can pick it up for a few bucks. I think it's well worth that, because it is a short experience. So it'd be interesting to see if you guys play it in the future and what you think of it.
Probably a good candidate if they put that on. I don't know. Don't think it is at the moment, but on. Oh no, actually, it is on xCloud. So not in the Australian xCloud yet, but that'd be cool. Because that's just a quick thing you can play if you wanted to try it xCloud.
I feel like you're trying to have a go at me because I still haven't been invited to xCloud.
No, that's got nothing to do with it. I was just thinking of, I don't know if that game's difficult or not, or if that would be fine if they put a touchscreen interface for it, or if it would be tricky because of the nature of it. So I'm not trying to remind you that have yet to be invited to xCloud Australia Preview.
It's not very twitchy, the game, so it's not a Hollow Knight or something like that. So I definitely think you could play this on xCloud. Another thing that triggered me about xCloud, I heard on a podcast, this guy was like, oh, yeah, I should try that. So I signed up to it, and then I got an invite, instantly. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, I should
you
try
kidding
that
me?
too.
Maybe
I was like
maybe
so triggered.
What do I do it
Roll-
again?
maybe
Let me try it.
your old Xbox account.
See this.
I don't want to.
Well,
But yeah, you're right. I probably
you
would
have
get.
to pay for Game
Wow.
Pass for it anyway, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, that's
Sign
right.
up.
Oh god. Yeah. So I mean, that's my Gato Roboto review. Good game. Yeah, it's certainly below Ori and.
Mike signs up right now, and by the end of the podcast, he's been accepted.
Oh, he would. He would. Like it sounds like
Like,
if you are
like, can you
Register
qualified, you'll get in.
now.
Can you please sign up?
Sign
It's
in.
gonna be a
Yeah,
moment.
I'm doing it right now. I'm just signing in.
All right. Well, like that's the review. I'm triggered now by the xCloud stuff. And let's get into our final segment for the show. Game Awards, Game Award predictions. So, yeah, like we'll run through. What do you want to do, Swinny? Do you want to actually go through? I know this is out of different order than what you're suggesting. Do we want to go through the categories first and give our predictions there, and then give our announcement predictions at the end?
No,
Or
we must do it exactly how I've randomly on the run sheet.
what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go through the categories first because I think that's going to be the easiest.
Yeah.
And then so we're going to look. There's a bunch of categories that the Game Awards are handing out. Most of them they kind of don't even probably announce on the show themselves, but we thought would pick.
And we should say at the top of the show as well that Mike and I are going to do a reaction to the Game Awards. We haven't done that before, but we're planning to do that
you've
for next
now
week.
you've just locked yourself into it.
Well, I confirmed with Mike. Now you have to do it, Mike. You have said a few times that you're happy to do it.
So we've chosen 9 of the categories.
Happy to do what?
You idiot.
We've chosen 9 of the categories, including Game of the Year, to make predictions against the nominees, and also we're going to predict, some of the 3, I guess, happenings, whether or not they're announcements or things that we think will happen at the show. As a general thing, because we thought that they always have some cool world premieres. I mean, they actually unveiled the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards, which is huge, So it's they've always got some good stuff going on. So let's do we just want to get straight into it?
Yeah. Let's go through it. Let's run through it. And let's change up the order of people each time.
Okay, so the first category that we're going to predict is Best Score and Music. So, Mike, if you don't know, there's a tab in our run sheet that has the nominees, so you can easily read them. But the nominees were Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2 for this. So this is for Best Score and Music. So, Integot. By the way, sorry, can I clarify? Are we okay with us multiple people predicting the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, all right. So, Integot, Best Score in Music. Where's your
Easy.
money?
Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal is Integot. Okay.
Tough one.
And it's going to be awkward because Mick Gordon, who did the main score, won't be able to accept the award.
Well, we don't know.
No, I don't think
before.
they'll do that.
Keely's got the connections.
Yeah, but then he doesn't want to put Bethesda offside, so...
Well, never put it past him.
All right, we're taking a lot of time on one prediction.
Mike, Best Score in Music. What's your pick?
I'm just going to go with The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
They all had really good music, having played all of these.
Your own music. I actually watched Mark.
I like how he keeps on saying, I've played all of these,
Mark Hoppus from Blink.
No, isn't like I've experienced the music firsthand of all of these.
I actually watched Mark Hoppus from Blink 182 play Damn It within The Last of Us on the guitar. It's pretty funny.
Sick.
And he forgot the
that's
lyrics. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Best music, I'm going to go with Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
That
Oh,
had really good music, yeah.
okay. Interesting.
I was tossing between those two as well.
Cool. All right.
I find it amazing that we've all gone different things, but yeah, all right.
So the second category is Best Ongoing Game. So we've got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. So, Mike.
It's a tough one too. Look, I'm going to go with No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
I don't think it's going to be it, but that's my choice.
Wait. It's not who you want to win. It's
Well, I don't care. I'm going with No Man's Sky.
All right, who's next?
okay. I'll go next. I'm going to go with Fortnite.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fortnite, by the
Okay.
way, if anyone
Oh.
doesn't know, Fortnite just ended, I think, season 4 with, like, I watched the video. That's the stuff they do in that is insane. Like, they had a whole Light Wars style, Star Fox style shooting section just as part of the finishing event where you're driving a bus through to Galactus. It was crazy. Anyway,
That's pretty cool.
I don't know. Like we, as always, we do a lot of preparation with the show, but we do not talk about segments like what we're going to decide and do. And I'm amazed that we're going different routes every time. I'm going Apex Legends. Oh, sorry, no, Destiny.
You go with Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
okay, all right. The third category is Best Family Game. So there's 6 nominees for this one. So we've got Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario The Origami King. So I'll go first this time, and I'm going to go Animal Crossing.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one. I think we're all going for that.
All right, cool.
I do like how they put Mario Kart Live in there. That was interesting.
Wait, you being the contrarian, Swinny, how come you didn't go for something else?
Okay.
Fall Guys. I love if Fall Guys wins.
Okay, best
It might.
Best indie game. So we've got Carrion, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer.
Is Hades technically an indie game by now?
Oh, definitely. Definitely an indie game.
Yeah, so Integot, you can go first. And next time, Mike, wait for me to call who's going.
I think, it seems really obvious. I do feel like Carrion has a chance, but I'm going Hades.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think Carrion's the least likely of all these, but that's just me.
Okay.
Mike.
I'm going to go Fall Guys. A lot more people play that, I feel.
I'm going to go Fall Guys as well.
This is good. This is juicy. We're definitely, there's going to be a winner, I'd say.
Juicy. Okay. Now, best
word
action game. So we've got Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
Ooh. What do you reckon, Integot?
I'm
It's Mike's
going to
turn.
go first.
No, it's Mike's turn, isn't it?
I'm not doing it in
It's fine.
I'm just mixing.
Okay.
It's random
As long as everyone gets a go.
whatever Swinny feels
I'm
like.
going to go Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I'm going to go Doom Eternal too.
Okay. Integot?
Yeah, it's too hard to go past. Yeah, I'm going for Doom Eternal as well.
Okay, cool. All right, best action adventure game. So we've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghosts of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will,
I thought of that when I said it before.
Ori and the Will of the Wisps, by the 6 nominees, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh.
So Integot, you can go first.
No, Mike has to go first because it's uneven.
I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with Ghosts of Sashimi.
Okay. Integot. By the way,
This is a tough one.
I'm calling out who goes first, Integot. For one time, the host.
We're all going to have a go first. Okay.
Just let him have his
That's the last
part.
time I do it then. I go for Last of Us Part 2.
Integot, Last of Us Poochu? I don't know what.
I was like, what?
Last of Us Poochu.
You sound like my son. He's discovered those words and he just says it all the time. Now.
I'm also going Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh, okay. Huh.
Swinny's starting to copy me now, it seems.
I would have gone for that, but I don't know if it sort of falls under
You guys
the
copied
adventure game bucket.
Best family game and action game. Just for the... All right. Best RPG: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Mike.
Like a dragon touched.
Mike, is that your
No, it's not. Final Fantasy Remake.
Okay.
Which I'm hoping they'll do 60
I'll
FPS
go
patch
next,
soon.
and I'm going to also do Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well, that's all three of us then.
Okay. Like a dragon.
Okay. Best sports
So
racing.
we are. Yeah, there's three categories. We've said the exact same thing.
Yep.
Huh.
So there's best. There was 10 categories. Okay, I thought it was 9 categories that we chose, but there's 10. Okay. So best sports racing game. I kept this in just for you, Mike. So
Nice.
Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, because I know you love sports so much, NBA 2K, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. I'll go on this one. I'm going to go... I have to go Tony Hawk. I can't choose anything else, honestly.
What? I'm sorry, but this isn't about you. It's about what you think is going to win.
Integot.
Who's next?
Integot.
Oh, yeah, Tony Hawk.
Okay. And Mike.
I'll go Dirt.
Dirt.
Oh, good.
Apparently very good. All right. We've got Best Multiplayer Game. So we've got Animal Crossing's New Horizons, which is
Not really a
It's
multiplayer
so
game, but
funny.
okay.
We've got
It's literally got the worst infrastructure. Worse than Smash.
we've got Among Us, and they clarified they're counting that for this year. Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant. Mike, how about you go first?
Among Us.
Mike goes Among Us. Integot.
Among Us.
Integot goes Among Us. I'm going to go for Call of Duty
Among
Warzone.
Us. Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Good pick. Good pick.
Just to be contrarian.
Yeah, so he is a contrarian. I knew it.
All right, the last category
Oh,
before
yeah.
we do our announcement predictions is Game of the Year.
Game of the year.
Yeah, the year. There's 6 nominees: Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. Integot, do you want to go first?
Oh, okay. I think this year is one of those weird years where you can mount a case for and against almost all of these games.
Yes.
And you really could argue it. I think ultimately I still stick with my gut feel, which is The Last of Us Part 2 is the winner.
The Last of Us Part 2. I'll go next. I'm going to... I don't know why. I just have a feeling I'm going to go with Hades.
Ooh, okay. That's not what I thought you were going to go for.
Okay.
Interesting.
Mike.
I would love if they win, to be honest. I'd love if they win.
Look, I'm just going to have to be slightly different. My gut feel kind of is The Last of Us, but I'm going to go with Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima by Mike.
So again, I reckon 4 of these games I could easily see winning. Animal Crossing, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2.
Now, Mike,
Because
I've got something to say that I don't know if
Yeah.
it will change your pick,
Hmm.
but do you want me to say it? Or
Yeah.
are you locking
No,
Ghost of
say
Tsushima?
it. I'm locking it
I
anyway,
have a
but say it.
feeling the fact that they went with Sekiro last year as Game of the Year,
You reckon they want this
I
time?
don't think... I know they're very different games.
Well, I don't know.
Ghost
They're
of
totally
Tsushima
different
just
games.
feels too similar.
yeah, but one's a
It's quite
Japanese
different.
Dark Souls, the other one's a Japanese Assassin's
no, I
Creed,
know.
right?
Yeah,
Totally
exactly.
different.
Totally
But
different.
they're also both kind of set, in like, in the historical Japanese settings in a way, so it's just, it feels like it would be very similar. So I don't know. If you're still going to stick with it, that's cool.
I'm sticking to my guns, baby.
Cool.
Can I
I
just
have
say,
conviction.
so like the way that the Game Awards work, they have a panel, and it includes some Australian outlets. What is it? Oz Gamers, Survivor, and Press Start. And I think it's like 90% of the voting is all the review panel. And I listen to a lot of their shows, their podcasts. I mean, I don't feel like Animal Crossing could win really, because there's people that still hate that game. Ghost is the one, I reckon it's a bit of a smoky, because people talk about that so positively. Like, I really rarely hear negative, but then again, Last of Us, I know that in the gaming community, it's a bit divisive at times, but amongst the critics, man, they love that game. Like, very few critics shit on that game at all. So
Yeah, Mike, I thought it was divisive, but that's just me.
He usually gives me shit about the way I talk.
I couldn't go fast.
Because English is my third language.
what's wrong with saying divisive?
I don't know. I just think it's a very divisive way to say the word divisive.
All right, well, I'm happy with this. I feel like we're gonna get a winner out of these. I would be surprised if there's one person that wins.
Cool. So that's
Unfortunately, yeah, there's 3 categories. We
You
can
think
just
you'll get a
really
winner out of this?
ignore.
You'd be surprised if there's one person that wins. What?
No, because you could win in one of the things, and then I could win in another, and it could actually be even the points.
Oh, so you reckon it'll be even, not a clear winner?
No, I think there will be a clear winner, just because how different a lot of the categories are.
Okay.
okay. So that's not all though. We've got our.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We have announcements / happenings, things that cool stuff that will happen, or maybe not cool stuff, but things that will, your world premieres, your Reggie showing up, your kind of like
Yeah.
things that happen typically in front of a live crowd is probably a bit different this year, but I don't know. How do we want to do this? Do we want to kind of give our 3 in order, or do we want to go one by one?
Oh,
Let's
no,
just
no,
go
no.
one
We'll
each.
rotate around like one
Yeah,
each.
let's rotate around. Yeah.
Okay.
And then think about the ones that you're saying as well. Like I've tried to break mine up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, there's kind of some stuff that I think is obvious. We'll see whether or not anyone goes for them or not.
Well, let's call it out if it is. If someone's gone the obvious route.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I can go if you guys want.
All right, Mike.
Sure.
What's your first prediction?
So,
Sorry.
I predict.
Am I recording this, or are you noting this down somewhere?
No, can you note it down?
Yep.
I've
Is
already
it high
noted
level?
down here. I've got my little notes
Cool.
based on very thorough research. So I think the first thing that will happen is Phil Spencer is going to come on stage wearing a trench coat, and he's going to take the trench coat off and reveal a mankini.
What?
It will be an Xbox
Well, okay.
labeled mankini, but it'll be a
Xbox
mankini.
Series bikini.
It'll be exactly.
Spencer
I think
Mankini?
that's
Okay. Are you just
that's
throwing this, or what are you doing?
my first prediction. All right. My first proper prediction
No, that's locked in, man.
is
That's locked in. This is your second.
the announcement of a new Switch Pro console.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. That's
That's good. I like that.
that's
I like
bold.
that.
That's bold.
Bolder than Phil
But-
Spencer in the
but
mankini.
Do we need to pin you
I
down to a
guess.
date? Do you have to say a date?
No, I think that's enough.
No,
I don't-
no, that's
yeah.
enough.
Okay.
All right.
That's a good one. I like it.
I'll go next. I reckon Fall Guys will be announced for Switch.
Ooh,
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
yep, yeah,
like
Yeah.
it.
I wouldn't say that's a bold
I
one.
could see that
I
happening.
think
yeah.
that's actually not an obvious, but it's a safe bet, that one.
Nice.
Okay. Integot, what's your first prediction?
I think these have all been pretty safe, so maybe I'll take my safe one up and bring it forward. I think Kojima will come and he'll actually present, and he'll talk about, and he'll have a teaser trailer for his new game, which will be like a horror themed game exclusive for PS5.
So the thing is, I'm happy if it's just him showing up and showing teaser. It doesn't
I'm happy of him
have
just
to be
coming.
exclusive, but that's
Okay.
I'm happy. Like if you get that right, then obviously then that's even more.
Okay. So yeah, Kojima presenting something.
Yeah.
No, he comes and then he presents.
Well,
it.
as in specifically showing showing a trailer for his new project or something.
Okay. So it doesn't even have to be. Maybe just say bonus points for horror.
Okay.
yeah, I'll go
half
for
a bonus point for it's a horror game.
If you
Okay.
get that, and you're on the money. All right, Mike, what's your second prediction?
Ooh, I reckon they're going to show a new God of War game.
Well, okay, so
well,
Ragnarok. They're going,
but that's already been announced.
but are they going to show God of War Ragnarok?
I reckon they'll show it. Yeah.
Or are you saying something completely?
No.
Another one.
That one.
Yeah, that's the
Ragnarok.
prediction. Lock it in.
No, then it's not a new one. It's just that one. They're gonna show
Okay,
it.
they're going to show God of War Ragnarok. Okay,
A trailer.
Yep.
That's a pretty weak prediction.
Well,
so I reckon
okay. I got other ones. I
Switch
got.
Pro is actually bold. I don't think that's safe for the Game Award.
Yeah, I don't think that's safe. That's a good one.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
I guess my one, I feel like mine's pretty safe. Maybe I'll count this as your safe one then.
Okay.
Well, I'll go. I'll go as this is the safe one.
So my next one, I reckon they're going to announce a new Wolfenstein game.
Oh, yeah, it's good. I like that.
Okay.
Now the thing with that is Bethesda obviously have their own generally E3 stuff, but who knows what the hell E3 is even going to be next year. So I reckon that it's the timing, I think, lines up. Now, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Wolfenstein 3, but I think just a prediction that there's a new Wolfenstein announcement that no one knew about is my prediction. So,
And do you want to give it extra sauce by making it exclusive to Xbox and PC?
nah. I'm just going to keep it as a new Wolfenstein.
Well, wait, where do you land on it? Do you think it will be on all platforms?
No, I reckon it will. I reckon it will be exclusive, but I'm just going to. My prediction is there's a new Wolfenstein. So.
I feel like you guys are going so safe with these predictions. I got to revise mine. All right, I'll stick to what I originally was thinking. And amazingly, we've actually mentioned this in the podcast already. And I was about to laugh when you guys said it, because I already know your opinion of it, Swinny. But there's no basis for what I'm about to say. But I feel like Nintendo are going to announce a remaster or remake of Super Metroid.
Wow, really?
That would be cool.
What timing to actually talk about that on the show?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's so bizarre that
Did you just copy what I was saying?
It was crazy when you said it.
Did you even have a list, or did you just come up with the stuff now on the spot?
No, I've got a list. It's not in the run sheet this time because I accidentally.
You always put everything into the run sheet, though. This is very suspicious.
Oh no, I do have it in the run sheet
What
actually.
Coincidence.
It's just on my tab. Don't look at it because it shows my next prediction as well.
No, we don't look at your tab. We don't look at
your
my
secret
highlighted
tab that you can all see.
It's red for.
I'm gonna make my own tab.
The other one is that I had, and it actually reminds me when I've written this. So there's a couple of things that I think why they'll do this. They've already had the team work on the remake for Metroid 2. I think that they'll probably use the same team or, a similar team to that. I probably will be annoyed with this game because I'll probably go with a 3D aesthetic, and I think that Super Metroid's perfect the way it is. And I think that they'll also use it because it's, Metroid anniversary next year. I think that they'll have some kind of apology for Metroid Prime 4 or a nod to it. It's kind of like, hey, we're still busy working on Metroid Prime 4, but in the meantime, blah, blah, blah. And this is the announcement of it.
That's a really good prediction.
So yeah, that's going to be my prediction. I mean, I could soften that prediction by saying that they'll, maybe make a remake of a Metroid game. Like it could be Fusion potentially, I guess, or maybe even Zero Mission again, but I'll stick with Super Metroid.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Mike, what's your third prediction? No more Mankini, so.
Well, actually, sorry.
Wait, what was yours, Swinny? I've forgotten now.
Mine was a new Wolfenstein game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, you're going.
Yeah. So, Mike, your last prediction.
My prediction is that Phil Spencer's going to come on stage. Wait, hang on. I haven't finished this part yet. No, there's no Mankini in this one, but there is a Phil Spencer in it. He's going to come on stage, and he's going to reveal some new VR Kinect 3D bullshit thing for the new console.
So like a VR thing. Interesting.
Like a VR augmented reality something thing.
So Xbox.
I've never heard someone say that. That's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Whatever they call it, Windows.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And you reckon it will work on Xbox and PC or just Xbox?
Well, they already have mixed reality on PC.
It'll just be like an Xbox thing. Yeah.
So that already exists. So
yeah.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're saying.
So when there's what they call mixed reality like VR games that have achievement lists and stuff on PC for Windows.
But
but what I'm saying is PSVR only works on PlayStation. It doesn't work on PC
as well, technically. But yeah.
What was that, Mike?
You can technically use it on PC as well.
You can't. It doesn't work.
No, you can. I've used it.
Huh? How?
There's programs that you can use to get it to work. Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But no, I think this is going to be at least marketed as an Xbox thing.
An Xbox thing, yeah, which doesn't.
Yeah.
Exist. Yeah, okay.
Look, bonus points if it's exclusive only for Xbox.
I like it.
Cool. All right. My third prediction is I don't know if it's the safest one, but it's I predict that Dragon Age will be announced to have some form of multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't think that's that safe. Did Andromeda have multiplayer?
Yes.
Andromeda?
Wait.
No.
No, yes it did.
No.
Andromeda had multiplayer.
No, it didn't. What?
Yeah. Was in competitive multiplayer or was in co-op?
Mass Effect 3 had multiplayer.
No, I'm pretty sure Andromeda had it as well, didn't it?
I don't remember the.
I can't believe
They
you guys
had.
don't know this.
Hang on, they
I
had
have
this.
to be
They had,
wrong.
no, maybe you're right. But they had those pre-orders for like the multiplayer skins and some other crap. I thought.
Okay, but anyway,
Hang
there's
on.
never been multiplayer in a Dragon Age game, so I reckon they will announce that. Like, this is a prediction. Who knows what they'll show Dragon Age, but they're going to show Dragon Age in some form. But I reckon they will announce that it has some form of multiplayer.
So Andromeda has co-op
It does have
multiplayer.
it. Yeah, it's co-op multiplayer, but it's multiplayer. It's the same as Mass Effect 3. That only had co-op as well.
Okay, well, I'm very wrong then.
No, but I don't think of that as multiplayer, really. Like,
It's
I
still
think
multiplayer. Do you play with other people? Are there more than one player?
This is-
Are there multi?
Okay, wow, I'm really wrong about that if
Players?
it does. But yeah, no, I'm counting co-op.
You seem shook.
I literally do not. I thought they. When did they have this? Oh, wow.
He's like really
I
shook.
thought they always
Shook
had
up.
it because they had the pre-order skins and stuff for
This
it.
feels like the most wrong I've ever been about something.
I agree. I think it is the most wrong you've been about
Wow.
something. Like normally you
and
get it wrong around the edges or something. Like, oh, I said this studio, but it was actually a slightly different studio that got bought out or something. You
It
know,
goes to show you that, like, how little the multiplayer of Andromeda moved the needle. If I
and also that we need Mike on the show
Like,
because I would never
even
be
though
able to
it had
correct you about
multiplayer.
that.
Well, this is literally the only thing I contributed to the entire time.
Wow.
being on here,
Well, you've
so-
got the show title. You've got the show title. Souls inspired, souls alike.
Wow. Okay. Gee. All right.
It was Dark Souls inspired. so it's like-
Your third and last prediction.
Yeah, boys. I was also shook this week because I had this prediction. I had it like
You were
written
shook?
down. I was shook this week. No, shook.
You were shook.
I was shook, boys.
You were shook.
So I had my prediction ages ago, and then this week I was like, "Oh, should I change it?" I feel like I probably should change it, but I'll just stick to it because, we'll talk about it. So I had the prediction that they'll have 2 characters revealed in Smash Brothers, and they'll have one joint trailer for it. And the logic that I have for this is, you did have a few years ago, like all the heads of the 3 console makers come together as a sign of unity and hey, let's all play together.
Oh yeah.
And I think what best to have one rep from Sony and one rep from Microsoft and aligning to the next gen as well and bring it through Smash. It kind of like ticks all the boxes for everyone. And my prediction is that they'll have Kratos and Master Chief joining the Smash roster and it'll be announced next week at the Game Awards.
That's
That's a big prediction. I like
that's
that.
an insane prediction.
It'd be kind of cool if
That
they
is
did that.
insane
So I had this-
prediction. Now, all right. So just to clarify, so when I was talking about the obvious things, to me, the 2 obvious things were a Smash Brothers announcement, but not what you're saying, and Elden Ring. Right? To me, they're the safe kind of bets where those 2 things, like whether or not it's just a trailer of Elden Ring or whatever, right? But to go that far, like where did this come from?
Well, no, like I said, I just, they've been saving the character announcements for Smash for a while, right? At the time, because they've already decided all the characters like a few years ago now. And I think it was just around that time where they're talking about like working together more and everything like that. And I'm like, there's just like a lot of signs. Next gen, I mean, like Master Chief, that was all meant to be out now. I don't know. And then it was so weird during the week how there's rumors about Master Chief joining Fortnite and Kratos just joined Fortnite this week. And I'm like, oh man, should I change my prediction? Because if this has happened, it's kind of a bit weird predicting this. But I came up with this prediction before any of this stuff came out. So
Yeah, keep
not
it.
sure if it
I think
actually,
it's a good prediction.
I don't know if it actually adds more or takes it away.
The Sony things to me, like that's really unexpected. Like I don't think that would have happened. But hey, if that's your prediction,
It could happen.
like that's crazy. Also, they just had
We'll
a
have to-
Microsoft rep announced as the last character.
We'll have to publish this clip and episode before anything leaks.
Oh
Then
yeah,
we can
I was
point
going to
back
say
it.
like this because the clips sometimes go up a bit throughout the week, so this should definitely go up obviously before the Game Awards. But yeah.
I could actually schedule it so it goes up the night before the Game Awards.
Well, okay, so you've taken what could be a safe prediction and turned it into an incredibly bold prediction. That's
That's how I do.
how you roll. Well, all right.
So do you want to quickly run through the predictions, Swinny?
Let's run through the announcement predictions. We won't go through the categories again. I think it's
Yeah.
So Mike's 3 predictions are that a Switch Pro will be announced, that a new God of War will be shown, which is going to be
No. It's the new God of War that's already been talked about, but they'll actually show it.
God of War Ragnarok will be shown, and that Microsoft will show some form of new Xbox VR, AR, mixed reality style tech for Xbox console.
I didn't call it tech. I called it bullshit. But yeah, that.
And also,
Wait, you're the biggest fan of VR. That makes no sense.
No, I just wasn't a fan of connecting stuff. It didn't really work well.
My 3 predictions is that Fall Guys will be announced for Switch, that a new Wolfenstein game will be announced, and that Dragon Age, which we know is being shown, will be shown to have a multiplayer functionality for it.
With loot boxes and stuff.
Integot's 3 predictions, and honestly, these are all pretty out there. Kojima will present and show off a teaser, and for bonus points, specifically a PS5 horror exclusive. He's also predicted that a Super Metroid remake / remaster will be announced, and I can't believe this one, that Smash Brothers will have a reveal, but it will be 2 character reveals. One will be Kratos, and one will be Master Chief.
Do you know what I have to say? That if I get all mine right, I'm going to be... You're never going to hear the end of it for the rest of the podcast run.
What do you reckon the chances that none of these will happen?
For me?
No, I'm just like, do you reckon, like... I reckon...
Oh, that for all 9?
The safest thing out of all this is Fall Guys, probably for Switch, I reckon. But
I don't think that's that safe, to be honest, because I listened to a podcast where they, the guys who developed Fall Guys were on it, and they were saying how difficult it was with the networking stuff. And then I just think about the Switch, and it's like, would it run that well on it? Because there's a lot of grabbing for Fall Guys.
But just think of the money they'll make.
Money. Think about the dollars. I think it's a very low chance none of these will come off.
Yeah.
I reckon the Kojima thing is like a lock, man, for me.
It's the place to do it, so...
He's besties with Jeff, and we haven't heard from him for a while.
I wonder if he'll be in it like he was in Death Stranding.
One can only dream about Phil Spencer.
But yeah, I definitely think one of them will come off.
Maybe I could use his face on some...
No, don't deep fake Phil Spencer onto Borat.
Deep fake Borat.
Okay.
All right, well, like I said, we're going to be covering it next week as a reaction. We'll post it on the channel, and then if there's any funny snippets, we might play it during the main body of the podcast. We'll see how we go. But we'll certainly reflect back on how we went and who won the predictions. How are we treating the predictions? Like, are we doing just a tally of the categories and then treating the announcements separately?
Yeah, I think you have to do that because you can't really...
Yeah, it's 2 separate.
Say an arbitrary point for those announcements. I mean, some of those are... If you get those Smash Bros. Character reveals, you win the whole thing. I don't care.
All right, I'm gonna play that.
Maybe he's got some insider info we don't. So,
True. I got the review codes and everything going on now.
Oh, he's reviewing this game we're not even allowed to talk about. So, he's got some sort of insider info, this guy.
Let's wrap it up for this week, boys. So again, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, jump on your favorite podcast service of choice. Search for Big Week in Gaming. If you want to reach out to us, jump on Twitter, BigWigPod, or just email us at bigwigpod@gmail.com. We'll always get back to you, and I always go through the YouTube comments and reply to people. Someone asked about how they can subscribe to Press Start, their Twitter feed. So, people are very interested in our PSAs and things like that.
Nice.
And also, if you want to help out the podcast, make sure you recommend it to friends and give us 5-star reviews of your podcast service of choice. Like and subscribe our videos. For this week, we say bye-bye.
Still can't believe Andromeda has multiplayer.
Phil, if you're listening, I have a mankini you can borrow. I haven't used it. It's 100% clean. You can wash it just in case. But yeah, hit me up. Mike at bigwigpod.com.au.
No, not .au.
Not .au, just .com.
Not that works anyway. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Ciao.